Chapter 1. His body fell rapidly as if he had passed through a dark tunnel. After an unknown period of time, there was a sudden flash of light in front of him. Lin Muyu's body escaped from the tearing sensation, but an extremely hot and scorching feeling quickly spread around him. With a plop, he had already fallen onto a soft place, but when he reached out to touch it, all he felt was a burning sensation. Ah, where is this place? It's so hot, it's like I've entered a roast duck stove. When he opened his eyes, Lin Muyu was shocked. He was actually in a sea of flames, and there was boiling red magma everywhere. He was lucky enough to fall on a rock protruding from the magma. Didn't I go offline in the game? But where is this? It doesn't look like a room at home? He was inexplicably shocked. Suddenly, he felt a suffocating aura, and an extremely sinister voice came from the air. He, 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor, you call yourself the Demon Emperor in vain. You probably never thought that you would end up like this today, right? In the sky, an old man dressed in a green robe stepped on a constellation. He was actually flying. With every step he took, a 7-colored constellation would appear beneath his feet. It was as if they were stars, extremely beautiful. This was an absolute expert. He looked complacent and looked at the sea of magma. Suddenly, his expression changed and he roared with hatred. When you single-handedly slaughtered thousands of my disciples, did you ever think that this day would come? You probably never thought that I would gather 24 godly state masters and more than 100 sanctuary masters to spend 100 years to kill you, right? In the dark sky, there were flashing figures. In the blink of an eye, nearly 200 top masters formed an iron wall in the air. Each of their faces had a suffocating murderous intent. They were also stepping on the void, and just the aura they emitted was enough to suffocate Lin Muyu. Perhaps they were too strong, but they actually did not notice Lin Muyu at all. Perhaps a trash like Lin Muyu was not even worth their attention? Lin Muyu was completely dumbfounded. Was this a movie? It must be a dream, it must be a dream, you can't lie to me. All he had to do was pinch his philtrum and he would wake up. He pinched hard. Ow, it hurts. He raised his head and saw that many deity-level experts were still around. Was this not a dream? At this moment, the sea of lava suddenly boiled, setting off monstrous waves. In the blink of an eye, they condensed into a huge wave, and on the top of the wave stood a man in a black robe. He looked to be about 30 years old and was abnormally handsome. With contempt and anger on his face, he shouted, "Qin, you despicable man. You took advantage of my hundreds of years of hibernation to kill your way into the 17th level of purgatory. Despicable man, even if you destroyed my devil vein, do you think that just a few hundred people in front of you can do anything to my 7 luminaries' dark energy?" He slowly raised his palm, his face full of battle intent, and the sea of fire around him also began to surge. The deity called Qin Yi had a serious look on his face as he said in a low voice, "Friends from the righteous path, our chance to prove ourselves has come. Gather our strength and kill the 7 luminaries demon emperor, returning peace to the world." Everyone shouted in unison, their auras surging, and each of them brandished their weapons. Instantly, the sky was filled with colorful lights, almost causing Lin Muyu to be dumbfounded. However, although everyone's aura surged, it wasn't as fast as the 7 luminaries demon emperor's aura. What? With a wave of his palm, countless waves surged into the sky. The 7 luminaries demon emperor's expression was resolute as he shouted, "Chaos of all life." The huge waves in purgatory surged into the sky like blades, frightening Lin Muyu so much that she could only lie on a rock and watch the battle without moving. Meanwhile, the experts in the sky all activated their strength, brandishing their weapons to block the 7 luminaries demon emperor's attack. Instantly, loud noises filled the sky, and violent collisions shook the entire plane. With just one attack, some of the weaker experts had already exploded and died, fresh blood splattering everywhere. 2 luminaries demon dance. The 7 luminaries demon emperor quickly launched a second wave of attacks. The waves quickly transformed into their demonic forms and pounced on the crowd. However, the experts in the sky also pierced through the waves with their weapons, causing sparks to bloom around the demon emperor's body. Those were the light rays that slashed at the 4 luminaries demon emperor. 3 luminaries calamity. For the third attack, countless vengeful spirits roared in the sky, turning into waves that engulfed everyone. Other than the deities in the front row, more than 100 sanctuary experts in the back row were all killed in the blink of an eye. Under the impact of the demon emperor's power, their armors were all shattered, leaving only white bones. In the blink of an eye, even the white bones were turned into ashes. For luminaries' demon god's cry. For the demon emperor's fourth attack, the space had already become distorted under his power. The 3 deities roared angrily, and the moment their bodies exploded, they gathered the last of their god power to deliver a fatal blow to the demon emperor. Woo-woo. The demon emperor's wails were like the wails of ghosts and the howls of gods. He raised his arm, and the blood aura in the surroundings surged and gathered around him. He bellowed, 5 luminaries 8 wastelands annihilation. Streaks of bloody light erupted. Another few deities were unable to withstand this power and their bodies exploded. However, the sharp sword in Qin Yi's hand had already shot through the air. With a pu sound, it pierced through the demon emperor's chest. Fresh blood gushed out. While massacring his opponents, the demon emperor's injuries also worsened. 6 luminaries heavenly tribulation. The 7 luminaries demon emperor's angry roars shook the entire purgatory plane. The heavens and earth were reversed, and the universe was twisted. Another series of tragic cries rang out. Apart from Qin Yi, more than a dozen deities were turned into flesh and blood. However, before they died, they also turned the last of their god power into blood arrows that wrapped around their weapons and flew toward the demon emperor. Pu. In the blink of an eye, the demon emperor's body was already riddled with holes. His power was already on the verge of collapse. Blood flowed continuously from his mouth. He laughed loudly and said, "Qin, you despicable villain. In order to seize my power, you're actually willing to let the elites of this continent die. But I definitely won't let you have your way. The 7 luminaries' profound energy definitely won't fall into the hands of a villain like you." Qin Yi's face was already rapidly contorting, and he looked extremely malevolent. He raised his left hand and raised a huge blood-red ball of light. Golden chains moved around his body with a shwa 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 sound. He shouted in a low voice, "With the power of the 17th layer of the God-binding chain's martial soul, in addition to the god power I've accumulated throughout my entire life, this old man doesn't believe that I can't kill a dying demon like you." As he said that, he suddenly leaped down and pushed all of his power toward the other party. The 7 luminaries demon emperor, on the other hand, laughed loudly and shouted angrily, "Don't forget, my 7 luminaries' profound energy has a total of 7 heavens. This old man has never used the 7th heavens against anyone in my entire life. But consider yourself lucky today, I'll let you experience it." As he said that, the 7 luminaries demon emperor's body suddenly trembled. Starlight fell from the sky around his body, and in the blink of an eye, his entire body was shining with starlight. He raised his arm and shouted, 7 luminaries star transformation. Peng! Countless starlight gathered to form a sharp blade and rushed toward the opponent. The god-binding chains in front of Qin Yi, which he used to attack and block, suddenly shattered when they came into contact with the power of the 7th luminaries. Immediately after, Qin Yi's body started to disintegrate. Inch by inch, his flesh and bones turned into fragments. However, the god power in his hand was still sent out and landed directly on the chest of the 7 luminaries demon emperor. Just before Qin Yi died, a hint of pride appeared on his face. 7 luminaries demon emperor, even if you killed me, your divine body has already been destroyed. You must still die. As he said that, Qin Yi's body completely disintegrated, turning into wisps of dust that drifted in the wind. Another large mouthful of blood was spat out. When the 7 luminaries demon emperor killed the last god-rank expert, he was already on the verge of collapse. However, the dignity of a king supported him and he didn't fall. He still stood on the top of the waves and laughed loudly, Qin Yi, you're simply dreaming if you want to obtain my 7 luminaries' profound energy. Now, you're dead, it's good that you're dead. This emperor looks down on the world. Who can defeat me, cough cough. He coughed violently and the blood all over his body started to slowly disperse. At this moment, the demon emperor suddenly saw Lin Muyu on a huge rock not far away and couldn't help but laugh. Young man, you're so weak, yet you actually managed to come to the 17th level of purgatory. You're simply courting death. Lin Muyu was shocked, but he couldn't move his body. He was already under the pressure of the 7 luminaries demon emperor. His body felt like it could be crushed into powder at any time. It was incomparably uncomfortable. The 7 luminaries demon emperor's expression became very sinister and his body was collapsing. He looked at Lin Muyu as though he was looking at his prey and said sternly, "Good lad, luckily you're here. This emperor's divine body has already been damaged and can no longer bear my divine power. Count yourself lucky, this emperor wants this body of yours." As he said that, the 7 luminaries demon emperor suddenly roared and a soul attack directly hit Lin Muyu's body. What? Lin Muyu was shocked. Suddenly, he felt as though he had fallen into purgatory. His soul was being burned, or rather, his soul was being destroyed. The soul power of the 7 luminaries demon emperor was expelling him. He wanted his body. You don't have to waste your energy to resist. The 7 luminaries demon emperor laughed sinisterly. It's your greatest honor to be able to become this emperor's body. Disappear, a lowly soul like you doesn't have the right to live in this world. His mind was on fire, and Lin Muyu felt as though he was in 10,000 levels of purgatory. This kind of pain wasn't something an ordinary person could endure. He cried out miserably and knelt on the rock. His body trembled and his soul was being corroded. However, this process still hadn't ended after nearly half a minute. The 7 luminaries demon emperor asked suspiciously, "What's wrong?" At that moment, Lin Muyu slowly raised his head. Even though he was restrained by the 7 brilliance demon monarch's power, his eyes were clearer. He clenched his teeth as his unyielding will burned fiercely. His face was filled with an unyielding look as he uttered a furious roar. Why? What right do you have to erase me? What bullsh T7 luminaries demon emperor? What right do you have to be so high and mighty? Don't even think of erasing my soul. I was born to be a king. With a loud roar, Lin Muyu endured the pain of his soul being torn apart and stood up from the rock. He let out an unyielding roar towards the sky. A few seconds later, the person who panicked was the 7 luminaries demon emperor. His body had already collapsed and his soul was severely damaged. What surprised him even more was that the youth in front of him was crazy. His will to live made his aura not inferior to his own. This directly made the 7 luminaries demon emperor panic. His 7 luminaries' profound energy had already been injected into the youth's body, but his own soul was forcibly expelled by the youth's will to live. No! The 7 luminaries demon emperor roared angrily. With a loud purring, his body completely collapsed into flesh and blood. Even his soul dissipated in the wind. Plop! Lin Muyu knelt heavily on the ground. His internal organs were burning and the damage to his soul made him hold his head and howl miserably. Suddenly, a wave of energy exploded behind him and swept his body out of this plane. Just as he was passing through the plane tunnel, Lin Muyu fell into a deep sleep again. When he woke up, he didn't know when or where he was. When he slowly opened his eyes, he heard a young girl's joyful voice, "Grandpa! Grandpa! He's awake!" What came into view was a slightly swaying candle flame, and he was lying on a simple and unadorned bed. The door opened and a white-bearded old man walked in. He was wearing a gray robe and reeked of medicine, but his face was very ruddy. He smiled and said, "Young man, you're finally awake. I thought you couldn't make it." Chapter 2. Was this a nightmare? Lin Muyu was certain that this wasn't a dream, but a world she knew nothing about. This was even more mysterious than a dream. Behind the old man, a young girl wearing a green floral dress was standing there, looking at him excitedly. This young girl looked to be around 20 years old. She was slim and graceful, extremely beautiful, and her floral dress was extremely short. Her straight and slender legs were extremely eye-catching, and her upper body was wrapped in a tube top, showing off her towering peaks. If this was a dream, wouldn't it be too explosive? Lin Muyu quickly came back to herself. Did you save me? The old man smiled slightly. No, you were saved by my granddaughter, Chu Yao. So that beauty was called Chu Yao, what a good name. Lin Muyu praised inwardly. Old Gramps, thank you. Where is this place? This is Silver Fir City? The old man smiled kindly. You don't even know where you are? You really have the guts to barge into the Seven Stars forest alone. If a Yao hadn't seen you when she went into the forest to collect herbs, I'm afraid you would have become a delicious meal for the swift wolves. Thank you. Lin Muyu looked at Chu Yao. Chu Yao blushed slightly and said in a pleasant voice, You're welcome, I'm a healer. Saving people is my duty. The old man asked, Young man, what's your name? Why did you go to the Seven-Star Forest alone? I took your pulse and you don't have much power in your body. You don't seem like a cultivator. How was he supposed to answer this? Was he supposed to say that he had failed to log off and transmigrated here? And that he had encountered a monster called the Seven Luminaries Demon Emperor and fought hundreds of super experts? This didn't seem very convincing, so he said, My name is Lin Muyu. I accidentally got lost and walked into the Seven-Star Forest, then fainted. Oh, then where are you from? I'll send you back when you've recovered. How should he answer? Lin Muyu was in a dilemma again. If she told him which mountain she was from, this old man would definitely ask which mountain she was from and which city she belonged to. She knew nothing about this place and would be exposed. The best way was... He suddenly hugged his head and moaned in pain, saying, I can't remember anything. Where am I? Pretending to have amnesia? Damn it, I'm too smart. Someone was very pleased with himself. The old man stared blankly for a moment before saying, I've already examined you. Your head suffered a heavy blow, and it might be because of this that you've temporarily lost your memory. But don't worry, you can stay in our 100 Spirits Medicine Hall for the time being. Once you've recovered your memory, I'll have Chu Yao send you back. If there's anything you need to live here, you can just ask Chu Yao. Thank you, Grandpa. I still don't know your name. Oh, my name is Chu Feng. You can call me Grandpa Chu. All right, thank you, Grandpa Chu. You're welcome. Have a good rest. All right. After Chu Feng left, Chu Yao turned around to look at Lin Muyu. Then, she playfully stuck out her tongue and turned around to leave, leaving Lin Muyu with a pretty figure. No matter which world this was, the young ladies here were truly heavenly beauties. A wave of tiredness washed over Lin Muyu. He felt as if his head was about to explode. The scene of the Seven Luminaries Demon Emperor trying to take over his body kept appearing in his mind. It was like a nightmare. At this time, he had already calmly accepted reality. He had indeed transmigrated. As for why, he had no idea. He closed his eyes, but familiar symbols appeared in his mind. Was that the art of smithing? No, if this was the real world, why would the art of smithing appear in his mind? System Elf. Lin Muyu called out in his mind, but didn't respond. The art of smithing. This time, there was a response. The skill bar for smithing appeared in front of him. There were two branches, medicine refining and smithing. Moreover, the symbols were illusory and couldn't be grasped. Only he could see them. Lin Muyu clicked his tongue in wonder. Could it be that he had brought the skills from the game to the real world? At the thought of this, Lin Muyu was filled with regret. Why did he delete the skills like Stellar Art and Imbibing Slash? If he could really bring them to this world, they would all be lost arts. He tried to summon the skills again. He found that only smithing would respond to his summons. As for Fallen Star Step and Dragon Taming Spear, they all appeared like iron locks when he summoned them. The skills had been locked. Just as he was thinking, the door was suddenly pushed open. Chu Yao walked in with a bowl in her hand. She smiled and said, Lin Muyu, Grandpa said that your body is still quite weak. It's as if all your energy has been drained. So, I'll let you eat some porridge to replenish your energy. Indeed, his stomach was already empty. Lin Muyu immediately smiled and said, "Thank you, Chu Yao." Chu Yao smiled faintly. "How old are you?" 23. "Oh." Chu Yao smiled mischievously. "I'm 24. You have to call me Sister Chu Yao, at least before we leave the 100 Spirits medicine shop." Lin Muyu secretly had a headache. He smiled and said, "All right, Sister Chu Yao. Do you need me to feed you porridge?" Chu Yao bent down and looked at him with a smile. In the end, the deep ravine between her breasts was revealed. It made Lin Muyu feel as if he was struck by lightning. "No need." He shook his head awkwardly. His face was almost red. Chu Yao then placed the porridge on the table and said, "Then eat slowly. I'll go out and pick out the medicine." "Thank you, Sister Chu Yao." After finishing the bowl of porridge, Lin Muyu recovered quite a bit of strength. However, he still felt that there was something wrong with his body. He waved his fists and felt that his body didn't even have the strength it originally had. In the original world, although Lin Muyu wasn't an expert, he still had some martial arts. He wouldn't be as weak as he was now. Something must have happened to his body. Could it be related to the death of the 7 luminaries' demon emperor? He couldn't figure it out no matter how much he thought about it. He walked out of the door. The refreshing wind blew against his face, making his whole body feel comfortable. This was the backyard of the 100 Spirits medicine shop. The courtyard was very wide. An old silver fir tree stood in the middle of the courtyard. There were more than 10 tables placed under the tree. The tables were filled with densely packed herbs. There were grass heads, grass roots, etc. Chu Yao and the other 7 alchemy apprentices were all immersed in collecting the effective parts of the herbs. Lin Muyu silently watched from the side. He was shocked. There were many types of herbs here, but he actually knew most of them. Eagle's eye grass, 7-star flower, ice leaf grass, hearthstone root, iron pear flower, sacred heart fruit, etc. These were all herbs in the game. Moreover, Lin Muyu was one of the 2 alchemy grandmasters in Conquer. Alchemy was a branch of alchemy. These herbs were all level 1 and 2. Chu Yao's hands flew like butterflies. She collected the 2nd layer of leaves of the eagle's eye grass and the plump root of the hearthstone root. It was a very pleasing sight. After a while, Chu Yao finally noticed Lin Muyu watching from the side. She couldn't help but laugh. "What's wrong? Do you know what these herbs are?" Lin Muyu didn't know how to answer. She pointed at a bunch of herbs and said, "This is ice leaf grass. It has a cold attribute, right?" Chu Yao's mouth fell open. She had a whole new level of respect for Lin Muyu. She couldn't help but smile. Even the way she addressed Lin Muyu changed. Do you know what herbs are?" "I sometimes collect some herbs to make gold sore medicine." "I see." Chu Yao pursed her red lips and smiled. "Actually, since you can't remember who you are or where your hometown is, why don't you stay? Although our 100 Spirits medicine hall isn't ranked among the hundreds of medicine halls in Kathaya City, we can at least provide for one person. You can learn alchemy from me and help the store. Grandpa is old and needs the help of us juniors. What do you think?" It was obvious that Chu Yao wanted him to stay. Since Lin Muyu had just arrived in this world, he naturally wanted to find a place to stay. He happily nodded and smiled. "If Sister Chu Yao doesn't mind, I'm willing to stay." Actually, Lin Muyu was only wearing a beginner's outfit when he arrived. It was now tattered, but it still couldn't hide his heroic spirit. His eyes were clear and flawless, causing Chu Yao to like him just by looking at him. It was also because of this that she wanted him to stay. When she heard that Lin Muyu was willing to stay, Chu Yao immediately clapped her hands in joy and said, "It's good that you're willing to stay. All of us alchemy apprentices will follow Grandpa to learn alchemy. You must call me senior sister." Lin Muyu couldn't help but smile. "Then I'll still call you Sister Chu Yao?" "Yes, as you like." Chu Yao was exceptionally happy, but a youth around the age of 25 next to her didn't seem too happy. He frowned and said, "Yao, you haven't gotten Master's permission yet. How can you accept anyone into the 100 Spirits medicine store?" This person was called Wang Lin, the eldest senior brother of the 100 Spirits medicine store. He was also one of the official alchemists of the 100 Spirits medicine store. Chu Yao was a bit displeased and said, "Eldest senior brother, you was alone in Silver Fir City. I coincidentally saved him, so I can't just leave him alone in Silver Fir City. Not to mention, you can recognize herbs. This means that he has fate with alchemy. I believe that Grandpa will definitely agree when he returns." Wang Ying snorted coldly and said, "Lin Muyu, I know that you were picked up by Yao from the Seven Stars Forest. I don't care who you are, but if you want to join the 100 Spirits Medicine Store, you'll have to show your ability. Although our 100 Spirits Medicine Store isn't some righteous sect, we definitely won't raise freeloaders." Lin Muyu forcefully suppressed her disgust towards Wang Ying and said, "Does senior brother want to test me?" "That's right." Wang Ying sneered and said, "If you can't even get past me, then there's no need for you to stay in the 100 Spirits Medicine Store. If you know what's good for you, then get the hell out." As he spoke, he picked up a stalk of purple grass and asked, "What is this?" Chu Yao hurriedly said, "Senior brother, this is a level 3 herb. You is just an amateur, aren't you making things too difficult for him?" Just as Chu Yao was panicking, Lin Muyu said indifferently, "Dream leaf grass." This, Wang Ying didn't think that an amateur would recognize this, so he picked up another stalk of golden grass and asked, "Then what is this?" Obviously, the data of the plants here was the same as in the game, Conquer. Lin Muyu quickly became confident and said, "Golden grass, a level 3 herb. The one on your left is a level 3 herb, purple snake vine, and the one on your right is a level 3 herb, blood ginseng. Am I right?" This time it was Wang Ying's turn to be dumbfounded. Chu Yao walked forward, happy and angry at the same time. She pulled Lin Muyu's hand and said to Wang Ying, "Senior brother, you has just arrived at the 100 Spirits Medicine Store. Why are you making things so difficult for him? When grandfather comes back, we'll naturally have a conclusion." Wang Ying didn't say anything, but when he saw Chu Yao pulling Lin Muyu's hand, he glared at him fiercely. Chapter 3. When it was getting dark, Chu Feng came back. He was travel-worn, and the bamboo basket behind him was full of herbs. Chu Yao immediately told him about Lin Muyu's knowledge of herbs. Chu Feng was overjoyed and immediately agreed to take Lin Muyu as his disciple. Wang Ying could no longer stop him. In fact, Lin Muyu could see that Wang Ying was secretly in love with Chu Yao. However, how could such a person be worthy of the innocent Chu Yao? Therefore, she could not let him have his way. This was an act of justice. If she could destroy it, she could not let it go. Starlight sprinkled on the backyard, and the peace bloom flowers glowed with a stunning light in the night. This was the characteristic of peace bloom flowers, which only bloomed and emitted fragrance at night. The whole yard was filled with the fragrance of peace bloom flowers, which made people feel refreshed. A group of apprentices sat in the yard, memorizing the characteristics of herbs. Lin Muyu and Chu Yao were also there. The young apprentice, Luo Kai, suddenly said, "In 3 days, it will be the day of the medicine ceremony. Master, our 100 Spirits Pharmacy doesn't have any high-grade herbs. Why don't we not go?" Chu Feng sighed, "If you don't want to go, then don't go," Wang Ying said. "Master, I heard that the son of the Divine Feather Pharmacy, the young master of the city, Hua Wan, has already mastered the method of making level 5 medicine. He has officially become a master apothecary." Chu Feng was stunned. "So fast? That kid is only 24 years old. How could he become a master apothecary at such a young age?" Chu Yao said indignantly, "The Divine Feather Pharmacy is rich and overbearing, and they have the support of the entire city. They even have level 7 and level 8 herbs. The highest level of herbs in our 100 Spirits Pharmacy is only level 5. Of course, we can't be compared. Otherwise, I could also." At the end of her sentence, she felt a little guilty and didn't continue. However, she still pouted and looked angry. Lin Muyu found it funny and asked, "Sister Chu Yao, what do you mean by master apothecary? You don't even know this?" Wang Ying looked at Lin Muyu mockingly, as if he felt that this person should not have stayed in the medicine shop at all. Chu Yao glared at Wang Ying and patiently explained, "In the field of alchemists, there are different levels. These levels are determined by the Imperial Capital's Spirit Medicine Department. All alchemists are divided into 6 levels: Alchemist Apprentice, Alchemist Master, Alchemist Saint, Alchemist King, and Alchemist God. Among them, Alchemist Apprentice can refine level 1 to 2 medicines, Alchemist Master 3 to 4, Alchemist Master 5 to 6, Alchemist Saint 7 to 8, Alchemist King 9, and Alchemist God 10. Understand? Ah, thank you, Sister Chu Yao. Lin Muyu nodded. She then looked at Chu Feng and asked, "What level does Grandpa belong to?" Chu Feng said awkwardly, "This old man was born into poverty, so I'm only a great apothecary." Chu Yao said, "In the 100 Spirits medicine shop, Grandpa is a great apothecary, and the highest he can refine is level 5 medicines. Brother Wang Ying and I are alchemists, and the rest are alchemist apprentices." Wang Ying sneered, "Some people haven't even mastered level 1 alchemy. I'm afraid they can't be certified as apprentices, right?" Chu Yao glared at Wang Ying, then pouted and said angrily, "You, come with me to the pharmacy. I'll teach you." Chu Feng hurriedly said, "Yao, can you do it?" Chu Yao turned around and confidently puffed out her chest. Under the moonlight, her snow-white skin was as beautiful as frost. She said, "Why not?" In the pharmacy, there was a dazzling array of medicinal ingredients. Chu Yao said slowly, "The most important point in alchemy is to refine the essence of the medicine. For example, there are only a few grams of essence in a silver thread grass, and the alchemists call it medicine essence. The first thing we need to do is to refine the medicine essence. The higher the level of the herb, the more difficult it is to refine the medicine essence, and the higher the cultivation requirement for the alchemist." As she said this, Chu Yao stretched out her snow-white hand, and with a soft shout, a faint green light appeared around her palm. She said softly, "Refining the hand, condensing the true qi in the body to refine the medicine essence in the herb. This is the first step you need to learn." Refining the hand, this was the most basic technique in alchemy. Lin Muyu didn't understand, but he knew that he had mastered a similar technique, the essence condensing hand. This was also his reward for becoming an alchemist grandmaster. The essence condensing hand could more thoroughly absorb the essence of the herb, remove the impurities, and increase the quality of the medicine. Chu Yao looked at Lin Muyu's confused expression and couldn't help but shake her head, saying, "Then let's see how senior sister does it first." As she said this, Chu Yao opened her palm, and with a soft shout, the silver thread grass began to tremble. Under the guidance of the essence condensing hand, the leaves and roots of the silver thread grass slowly began to peel off, and a green medicine essence that was almost invisible to the naked eye slowly began to flow and was absorbed by Chu Yao. Approximately a few minutes later, a small ball of green powder appeared in Chu Yao's palm. This was the legendary medicine essence of the silver thread grass. Chu Yao turned around and said with a slight smile, "This may be a bit difficult, but as long as you concentrate and condense the true qi in your body into your palm, and then concentrate on feeling the essence of the herb, you can begin the moment you capture the medicine essence." Lin Muyu silently stood there, gazing at the silver thread grass. Sure enough, after gazing at it for approximately half a minute, the structure of the silver thread grass had already begun to slowly be analyzed in his eyes. Tiny particles appeared in the roots and leaves. This was the medicine essence. In her heart, she clicked her tongue in wonder. Lin Muyu slowly opened her hand and directed it towards the silver thread grass. With her mind, she activated the essence condensing hand of alchemy. However, there wasn't the slightest movement, and he couldn't help but feel a bit anxious. At the side, Chu Yao softly said, "You, don't be anxious, take your time. True qi is something that everyone has, because qi is a mysterious power bestowed upon people by the universe." Lin Muyu didn't say anything, and continued to grit her teeth as she urged the energy within her body. Finally, a warm current appeared within her body, and slowly flowed to her fingertips. Immediately after, a faint green luster seeped out of her body. This feeling was too familiar. It was the essence condensing hand. Rustle. Under the guidance of the essence condensing hand, the silver thread grass trembled slightly, and its tissues began to peel off. Tiny particles of medicine essence gathered towards Lin Muyu's palm. After approximately 2 minutes, a small particle of medicine essence lay quietly in his palm. Chu Yao's mouth was wide open, and she stood there dumbfounded. She was already stunned. Every alchemist would eventually master the hand-tempering hand, but this was the first time she had seen someone master it on their first try. One had to know that she had practiced for nearly a month, and she had failed thousands of times before she could master the hand-tempering hand. Chu Yao shook Lin Muyu's arm, and her big eyes blinked. Is this really your first time refining medicine? Lin Muyu didn't know how to answer. It was his first time in this world, but it was countless times in the game. He had even refined level 10 miraculous medicine, let alone a mere level 1 herb. Thus, he replied, "Indeed, it's my first time here." Chu Yao was pleasantly surprised, and she hurriedly shouted, "Grandpa! Grandpa! Quick, come and see." Chu Feng thought that something had happened, so he hurriedly flew in from the outside. As soon as he entered, he saw Chu Yao and Lin Muyu standing there. He hurriedly asked, "What's wrong, Yao?" Chu Yao pointed at a small particle of medicine essence on the plate and said, "Quick, look, Yu has learned the hand-tempering hand, and he has only tried it once." "Is that so?" Chu Feng was skeptical. Naturally, he didn't believe that anyone could master the hand-tempering hand in one try. This was something that no one in the empire could do. Even those who were revered as the medicine god would need at least 1 to 3 days to master the hand-tempering hand. Chu Yao's aptitude was quite good, and she had mastered it in a month. Some of the less talented apprentices would need 3 months to half a year, and those who were even worse would never be able to master the hand-tempering hand in their lifetime. But looking at the medicine essence on the plate, the truth was right in front of him. What shocked Chu Feng even more was that Lin Muyu's medicine essence was much smaller than Chu Yao's. Chu Feng was also an expert in the art of alchemy, so he naturally understood that the reason the medicine essence was smaller was because the impurities had been refined more thoroughly. The silver thread grass that Lin Muyu used was about the same weight as Chu Yao's, but the medicine essence's volume was only 30% of Chu Yao's. This was too unimaginable. Looking at Lin Muyu's appearance, Chu Feng knew that his looks could not deceive others. He was only in his early 20s, but this level of skill in hand-tempering meant that he was at least at the level of an alchemy saint. The youngest alchemy saint in the empire is already 52 years old. Chu Feng was puzzled. Could it be that this young man in front of him was the son of some noble family that had been stranded in Cathaya City? "Grandpa, isn't you amazing?" Chu Yao asked with a happy smile. Chu Feng nodded with a smile. Chu Yao was too naive to understand the pros and cons of the situation. Chu Feng then looked at Lin Muyu and asked, Can you try some other herbs? For example, this iron pear flower?" The iron pear flower was a level 2 medicinal herb. However, its medicinal properties were fierce, and its outer shell was as hard as iron. To harvest this kind of herb, one would need to dig it up by the roots. This was because ordinary shovels would not be able to cut through the roots of the iron pear flower. This herb had caused many alchemists to want to die. Using hand tempering to peel off the surface of the iron pear flower was simply a nightmare. Therefore, there was a saying in the alchemy world, "It is easy to peel off the clothes of a maiden, but it is difficult to peel off the iron pear flower." This was enough to prove how difficult it was to extract the essence of the iron pear flower. In fact, even great alchemists were extremely reluctant to challenge a level 2 iron pear flower. Chu Feng asking Lin Muyu to try the iron pear flower was obviously a bit too much. Even Chu Yao knew that only great alchemists had the ability to refine the iron pear flower. "Grandpa, this..." She pouted her little mouth. Chu Feng's tone became slightly stricter. He said, "Yao, don't speak. Let's see what you will do." Lin Muyu was an intelligent person. Naturally, he understood what Chu Feng was thinking. In fact, he also knew that if he wanted to live a good life, he had to keep a low profile. After all, concealing one's true strength was the only way to avoid being destroyed. However, Lin Muyu's personality had the word wild in it. He was not used to it, nor did he like to keep a low profile. As he approached the iron pear flower, Lin Muyu let out a low shout. Once again, he concentrated on condensing his Zhen Qi into the palm of his hand, forming the essence condensing hand. As he opened his hand, streams of Zhen Qi turned into thin threads that pulled the iron pear flower. Lin Muyu's spirit was completely focused on this plant. He used his spiritual energy to analyze the structure of the iron pear flower. In fact, he knew that there were 3 layers on the surface of the iron pear flower. The first layer was the iron layer, the second layer was the stone layer, and the third layer was the wood layer. The middle layer was the real medicinal essence. However, he could not use a knife or axe to cut it. Otherwise, once the outer layer was damaged, the spiritual medicinal essence would quickly disperse and disappear. After a full minute, under the peeling of the essence condensing hand, the outermost iron layer of the iron pear flower slowly cracked and fell to the ground. Then he started on the second layer. He found the cracks on the stone layer and slowly peeled it off. This time, it took him about 2 minutes. The last layer was the wood layer, which took him about 3 minutes. Finally, layer by layer, the black iron pear flower turned into a green rhizome. Under the guidance of Lin Muyu, the medicinal essence slowly flowed into his palm. About 10 minutes later, the whole iron pear flower had turned into a quail egg-sized medicinal essence in Lin Muyu's palm. "Grandpa, is this it?" Lin Muyu asked with a smile as he held the iron pear flower. Chu Feng was shocked to the spot. He was silent. He knew that he must have picked up a treasure. Chapter 4. Have you really never learned how to temper your hands before? Chu Feng couldn't help but ask. Lin Muyu stretched her arms. No, but I am very familiar with the structure of medicinal herbs. Perhaps that's why. This wasn't really an explanation, but at least it was an explanation. Chu Feng couldn't help but be secretly delighted. Then, since you've learned how to temper your hands, Yao, why don't you give you some pointers? Teach him how to refine level 1 and 2 medicines first. In this year's pharmacopoeia, our 100 Spirits apothecary will be using your, Yu's, and Wang Ying's medicines to participate. What? Wang Ying was stunned. Master, you're not participating in the pharmacopoeia with your own medicine, but you're letting us 3 juniors participate? Chu Feng smiled. Master is old. It's time for you to train more. Wang Ying was silent, but Lin Muyu was well aware that Grandpa Chu wanted her to go and see if she could win something for the 100 Spirits apothecary. Soon, only Lin Muyu and Chu Yao were left in the pharmacy. Sister Chu Yao, is the pharmacopoeia conference that important? Lin Muyu finally couldn't help but ask after holding back for a long time. Chu Yao nodded. There are more than 100 medicine shops and shops in Cathaya City that supply medicine to the surrounding cities. However, the funds allocated to the treasury are very limited, so the provincial magistrate is only willing to allocate funds to the top 10 medicine shops in the pharmacopoeia conference. Last time, our 100 Spirits apothecary conference was ranked 79th, so we probably won't have a chance this time either. Come, your senior sister will teach you the formula. Unknowingly, Chu Yao was holding Lin Muyu's hand intimately. She probably felt that this handsome junior brother of hers was not only easygoing, but also able to bring her endless surprises. Flipping through a thick stack of books, Chu Yao pointed at them and said, Let's first try to refine level 1 medicines. Let's choose the golden soar medicine. Look at the formula. The ratio of silver thread grass and night flower is 8:2. Mix them together and refine them at high temperature. This is the medicine scale. Do it yourself? Chu Yao lit up the oil lamp while Lin Muyu quickly used the essence condensing hand to extract enough medicinal essence from the silver thread grass and the long night flower. However, when he used the medicine scale, he didn't use the ratio of 8:2. Instead, he used the ratio of 7:2 because this was the best ratio that Lin Muyu had found out. Then, he added a small amount of iron pear flower powder. The reason was that the iron pear flower could speed up the healing of wounds. It seemed that the people in this world didn't know about this unique formula. Even the pharmacopoeia didn't have any records about the iron pear flower. After mixing the ingredients, Lin Muyu placed them on a plate above the oil lamp and roasted them. At the same time, Lin Muyu opened up her right hand, and the essence-condensing hand swept out a whirlwind of airflow, which accelerated the fusion of the 3 medicinal herbs. This made Chu Yao dumbfounded. She had never known that the hand-tempering technique could be used in this way. All right. After the medicinal essence powder was refined, a small amount of warm water was added to turn the golden sore medicine into a paste. Moreover, the medicinal essence could also be fused more thoroughly. Chu Yao took the small plate, took a deep breath and said with a smile, "It smells so good. I have never smelled such a fragrant golden sore medicine." Lin Muyu laughed lightly. When the silver thread grass and long night flower are mixed together, there will be a fragrant smell. It should be fragrant. Chu Yao laughed lightly and said, refine more golden sore medicine. We will sell it at the market tomorrow. We should be able to sell it for a good amount of money, right? Come, senior sister will refine the medicine with you. She refined the golden sore medicine until the wee hours of the morning. Finally, an indescribable feeling of drowsiness hit her. Lin Muyu had used up too much of the true energy in her body, so she fell asleep on the medicine table. When he woke up, he found a charming young girl snuggled up to him. It was Chu Yao. Sunlight shone in through the crack of the door. Chu Yao lazily stretched her arms and looked at Lin Muyu beside her. She couldn't help but blush and say, how did we fall asleep? Lin Muyu rubbed her eyes. It's probably too tiring to refine the medicinal essence. Sister Chu Yao, how many golden sore medicine did we make? A total of 51 bottles. The total amount of medicinal ingredients used is about 20 silver coins. Oh, then how much can a bottle of golden sore medicine sell for? Normally it's 1 silver coin per bottle. However, some experienced old hunters and mercenaries are more knowledgeable. The higher the quality of the golden sore medicine, the higher the price. After all, this kind of high-quality medicine can save lives when fighting ferocious beasts. Our 100 Spirits medicine shop is a small business, so we don't have much money to buy high-quality medicinal ingredients above level 4. We mainly sell golden sore medicine. Is that so? Let's quickly eat and then sell it at the market? The sun was shining brightly. Wang Lin, Chu Yao, Lin Muyu, and Luo Kai, the 4 disciples of the 100 Spirits medicine shop, carried their medicine boxes and walked into the market. The market was located at the crossroads of Silver Fir City, right next to the city lord's manor. The 100 Spirits medicine shop's location wasn't good, and customers might starve to death if they came to buy their medicine. Therefore, the disciples brought their medicine to the market to sell as a way to make a living. After sitting down, Lin Muyu placed the 51 bottles of golden sore medicine on the table. On the side, Wang Lin placed the rank 2 calming potion and strength potion that she had refined herself. The calming potion could remove the dizziness after an injury and increase one's combat strength. The strength potion, which was refined using the blood of a tiger, could stimulate one's potential and increase the user's strength and explosive power. Generally speaking, those who bought medicine were cultivators, mercenaries, soldiers, hunters, and other more dangerous professions. This was especially true for some mercenaries. In order to kill magical beasts or powerful enemies, they would need strength potion, calming potion, and other medicines that could be used in battle. This way, their chances of survival and victory would be slightly higher. On the side, Wang Lin shouted at the top of his lungs, "Top-quality strength potion, calming potion, and golden sore medicine. Come take a look if you need it, sir." The products of the 100 Spirits medicine shop are of guaranteed quality. As soon as Wang Ying's voice fell, the few youths who had set up the stall opposite them started laughing. One of them, a youth dressed in green, couldn't help but mock, "100 Spirits medicine shop? A trash medicine shop that can only sell medicine below rank 3 dares to say that it's guaranteed quality? What a joke!" Wang Ying was enraged. "Li Qin, what did you say?" The youth in green raised an eyebrow and said, "I said that your 100 Spirits medicine shop is trash, so what?" "Wang Ying, you're just a rank 3 alchemist. Do you want to challenge this young master?" This young master can already refine rank 4 medicine. What about you? A piece of trash like you is only fit to be a rank 2 medicine. As he said that, the youth in green proudly shouted, Divine Feather Medicine Shop's rank 4 medicine is on sale. Stone Skin Potion, it can increase your defense, allowing you to condense chi to protect your body without using true chi. Paralysis Potion, smear it on the arrowheads, and even a 1,000-year-old magical beast or a battle saint will be kept quiet for a few minutes. Hurry up and buy it. Divine Feather Medicine Shop is going too far. Luo Kai said angrily. Lin Muyu had already found out that Divine Feather Medicine Shop was Silver Fir City's #1 medicine shop, and the boss behind it was Silver Fir City's city lord, Hua Tian. He was rather famous throughout the entire continent, and he had the capital to be arrogant. That youth was young, definitely not even 20 years old, but he was already a rank 4 alchemist. This was something that the 100 Spirits medicine shop could not compare to. However, Lin Muyu also knew that the 100 Spirits medicine shop's situation of being bullied would be reversed by her. At this time, a group of people came from afar. All of them looked experienced, had scars on their faces, and were not wearing neat armor. The battle axes and long swords they carried were also full of nicks. These people could not be the Empire's soldiers, they could only be mercenaries. Only mercenaries would not leave the Empire's emblem on their armor. As for the Empire's emblem, it was a purple flower, symbolizing the Empire's glory. The leader of this group of mercenaries looked very sturdy, and on his shoulder was a ferocious eagle. Moreover, one of his eyes was already blind, and it was wrapped in black cloth. It's Hawkeye, Chu Yao said to Lin Muyu in a low voice, a famous mercenary with the strength of a battle saint, very strong, very strong. He has at least 100 mercenaries under his command. It would be great if we could do business with him. At this time, Hawkeye stopped at the opposite stall and looked at Li Qin's potions. He picked up one of them, opened the cap, and smelled it. He couldn't help but sneer. This paralysis potion is only a 9th grade failed product, and your Divine Feather Medicine Shop dares to sell it? This kind of paralysis potion can't even paralyze an ordinary person, and you want to paralyze a battle saint ranker? Dream on. After saying that, Hawkeye directly smashed the bottle of paralysis potion. Li Qin was dumbstruck. Facing a battle saint ranker, he didn't even have the courage to speak. His whole body trembled slightly, like a trembling chick. Are there grades of potions? Lin Muyu asked in astonishment. Chu Yao nodded in a low voice and said, the same potion is divided into 9 grades. Grade 1 is the best and grade 9 is the worst. Generally speaking, the gold sword medicine I refine is between grade 3 and grade 7, but only experienced mercenaries and apothecaries can smell the grade. Usually, they have to go to the spiritual medicine division to know the grade of the medicine. So it's like this. At this time, Hawkeye brought a group of mercenaries to the 100 Spirits medicine store stall. He picked up Wang Ying's strength potion and smelled it, then laughed, grade 3 strength potion, worthless. After saying that, he directly smashed it. Wang Ying was stunned. You have to pay me back. Pay me back? Hawkeye laughed and suddenly crossed his arm. His battle axe was already at Wang Ying's neck. An invisible aura almost made it hard for people to breathe. He shouted in a low voice, you're selling potions that are not higher than grade 4. It's fine if I don't go to the government to sue you for selling fake medicine, but you want me to pay you back? Brat, are you tired of living? Lin Muyu resisted the other's aura and stood up. You have something to say, don't go too far. Go too far? Hawkeye let go of Wang Ying and looked at the potion in front of Lin Muyu. Brat, you also sell fake medicine, do you want to die? After saying that, he picked up a bottle of gold sword medicine and smashed it. He angrily said, grade 5 medicine is also trash. That bottle of medicine was refined by Chu Yao. Then he violently picked up a bottle of gold sword medicine and smelled it. Just as he was about to smash it, his whole body suddenly trembled. He suspiciously looked at Lin Muyu. This gold sword medicine was refined by you? Lin Muyu calmly replied. Strange, a brat like you, how could you refine a grade 1 gold sword medicine? That's a quality that can only be refined by a medicine king. Are you lying to this uncle? It was refined by me. Why would I lie to you? Lin Muyu was still very calm. What the hell? Hawkeye picked up another bottle of gold sore medicine and smelled it. He said, another grade 1 medicine, how is this possible? Brat, how many of these gold sore medicine do you have? 29 bottles. Excluding the ones refined by Chu Yao, Lin Muyu had personally refined 29 bottles. Hawkeye looked down at Lin Muyu and suddenly grinned. He took out 3 gold coins and threw them on the table. The coins were engraved with a purple flower pattern. They were the common currency of the Empire, gold embryo coins. Note, the common currency of the Qin Empire, 1 diamond coin is equal to 1,000 gold embryo coins, 1 gold embryo coin is equal to 100 silver embryo coins, and 1 silver embryo coin is equal to 100 copper embryo coins. The copper embryo coin is the most basic currency. The obverse of the coin is the image of a bow and arrow, and the reverse is the image of a hoe. It symbolizes that the commoners of the empire rely on hunting and farming. A blacksmith can earn about 30 copper embryo coins a day. The price of a bun is 1 copper embryo coin, and a roasted chicken is 20 copper embryo coins. Brat, consider yourself lucky. I want all your gold sore medicine, 10 silver embryo coins a bottle. Hawkeye grinned. His face was already full of scars, and when he smiled, it became even uglier. Chapter 5. Wow, it's Jinin dollars. Chu Yao's eyes were filled with little stars. Only the heavens knew how long it had been since she last saw a Jinin dollar. Jinin dollars? Lin Muyu was stunned. Hawkeye sneered. The gold sore medicine on the market is only 1 silver dollar per bottle. Your first grade gold sore medicine is extremely rare, so I'll give you 10 times the price. What, you're not willing? Lin Muyu's concept of money was still very vague. After all, she had just arrived in this world. Chu Yao whispered in his ear, we've struck it big. The 100 Spirits Medicine Hall used to only earn 3 Jinin dollars a month, but we've earned 3 in 1 day. We can buy an old hen to stew tonight. The food in the 100 Spirits Medicine Hall these past 2 days couldn't be considered good. Lin Muyu could only eat gruel and steamed buns every meal. The medicine hall's business was bleak, so the food naturally wasn't much better. However, when Chu Yao mentioned the old hen, Lin Muyu couldn't help but feel hungry. She knew what had happened, so she grabbed the 3 Jinin dollars on the table and said with a smile, "Many thanks for your patronage, hero." Hero? Hawkeye couldn't help but smile. He raised his blood-stained battle axe and said, "I'm no hero, I'm just a mercenary who kills for money." As he spoke, he pointed at the eagle on his shoulder and said, "Do you know how I lost this eye of mine? That's right, it was pecked blind by this beast. I later caught this beast, but I didn't kill it. Instead, I tamed it and made it kill for me. Brat, let me tell you, there are no heroes in this world. There are only people who kill for money and women." Lin Muyu couldn't be bothered to listen to his brainwashing. She happily took the Jinin dollars and sat down again. "Boss, let's go." The mercenaries behind him urged. Hawkeye nodded and glanced at Lin Muyu. He stepped on the table with his tattered boots and asked, "Brat, I'll ask you again. Did you personally refine this first-grade gold sore medicine?" Lin Muyu said. "Is that so?" Hawkeye suddenly roared, and his aura rose rapidly, as if he was possessed by the god of death. He turned his wrist and swept out with his battle axe. Lin Muyu felt a tingling pain on the skin of his neck before it even touched. With a "hua" sound, Hawkeye's battle axe stopped just as it was about to chop off Lin Muyu's head. He looked at the calmness of the young man in front of him and could not help but praise, "Good boy, you really have a bit of my personality. I haven't seen such a brave young man for many years." How could Lin Muyu remain calm? He was so scared that he couldn't move. When Hawkeye took out his battle axe, his legs still couldn't move. "How about this?" Hawkeye said. "Brat, I need 10 paralysis potions and 20 stone skin potions. But the quality must be above 2nd grade. If you can refine them, I will definitely reward you handsomely. How about it?" "Do you dare to accept this order?" Lin Muyu was startled. These 2 potions were level 4 and he had never refined them before. He didn't know if he could refine them or not. However, he still agreed and said, "I can, but you have to give me 20% down payment." But Hawkeye hefted his battle axe and grinned. The paralysis potion is priced at 10 times the market price of 5 silver coins, so 10 bottles will be 5 gold coins. The stone skin potion is priced at 10 times the market price of 10 silver coins, so 20 bottles will be 20 gold coins. That's 25 gold coins in total, 20% down payment. Here are 5 gold coins, take it. Right, what's your name? Which medicine shop are you from? Lin Muyu, 100 Spirits Medicine Hall. Oh, I haven't heard of it. But it doesn't matter. Can you give it to me tomorrow? Hawkeye looked down at Lin Muyu and grinned. If you can't give me 30 bottles of potions above 2nd grade, I will twist your head off. I, Hawkeye, am a man of my word. Lin Muyu nodded and said lightly, I know. It was as if the head that was about to be twisted off wasn't his. Watching Hawkeye and the other mercenaries leave, the people of Divine Feather Medicine Hall saw all of this. Li Qin, who was wearing a brocade robe, walked up to Lin Muyu and sneered, Where did this brat come from? How dare you court death like this? Do you know how many people Hawkeye has killed in public? Now that you've taken his Jin coins, let's see how you're going to get your hands on a level 4 medicine that's above the 2nd grade. Unless you're a king herb, you won't be able to refine a high-grade level 4 medicine. The youths from Divine Feather Medicine Hall behind Li Qin laughed and ridiculed the people from 100 Spirits Medicine Hall. Lin Muyu didn't try to argue. Instead, she packed up the gold sore medicine that hadn't been sold and said to Chu Yao, Sister Chu Yao, let's pack up and go back? Oh. Chu Yao didn't have any objections. Luo Kai and Wang Ying were stunned. They only came back to their senses when Lin Muyu and Chu Yao's figures disappeared into the alley. However, Lin Muyu didn't go back. Instead, she brought Chu Yao around the nearby medicine shops. Chu Yao was also anxious. I don't know how much of your alchemy skills are hidden, but a level 4 potion of 2nd grade is definitely not as easy to make as a level 1 potion. You are not only harming yourself, but also harming 100 Spirits Medicine Hall. Hawkeye is a mercenary who kills without batting an eye. Sister Chu Yao, help me hold the medicine chest. Lin Muyu didn't answer and handed the medicine chest to Chu Yao instead. Then, she walked into a medicine shop with 10 Jin coins in her pocket. The shopkeeper came forward and didn't think much of it when he saw that it was a young man and a young woman. What would you like to buy? Shopkeeper, give me half a Jin of demon snake flowers. Oh? Demon snake flowers? The shopkeeper looked at the young man in front of him in astonishment. That's a level 4 herb, what do you want it for? I'm buying herbs for my master. Oh, so that's how it is. Standing at the side, Chu Yao inwardly praised Lin Muyu's cleverness. It wasn't good to be too ostentatious. After all, there were only so many great alchemists in Silver Fir City, and there weren't many who could refine level 4 potions. Moreover, the 2 of them looked too young. Half a Jin of demon snake flowers cost 1 Jin coin. After that, Lin Muyu walked into the storeroom and looked at the herbs around him. His gaze finally landed on a giant black tree that was about 2 meters tall and covered in brambles. What, do you know this tree? The shopkeeper looked at the young man and woman in ridicule. The corner of Lin Muyu's lips curled up. A 121-year-old black iron tree. What? The boss was shocked and looked at him with a dumbfounded expression. You know about the black iron tree? But how do you know the age of this black iron tree? Lin Muyu pointed at the brambles on the black iron tree and said, A black iron tree will grow a new bramble every year it survives. This tree has 121 brambles in total, so it's a 121-year-old black iron tree, right? The shopkeeper laughed. Even if that's the case, it's not a big deal. However, you can't afford this tree. I spent a lot of money to buy it from the mountains. 7 Jin coins, I'll buy it, Lin Muyu said indifferently. The shopkeeper was stunned again. This young man in front of him actually had 7 Jin coins? Looking at his attire, it would be good if he could take out 7 Jin coins. He looked like a beggar. What, you're not selling it? Lin Muyu asked with a smile. I know that the black iron tree only grows on mountain rocks. Its entire body is harder than iron, and its roots pierce into the rocks to absorb nutrients from the rocks and water to grow. If you want to obtain a black iron tree, you have to cut open the entire rock on the cliff. Even so, this black iron tree can only sell for 7 jin coins at most. The shopkeeper narrowed his eyes and looked at the young man in front of him with interest. The black iron tree's entire body is as hard as iron, and it's even tougher than iron pear flowers. Alchemists below the rank of alchemist saint can't refine medicine essence from it. Young man, whose disciple are you? Why do you want to buy a black iron tree? You don't need to worry about that. Are you selling it or not? Of course I'm selling it. How can I not do business? The shopkeepers sold the black iron tree without hesitation. The black iron tree was a level 4 medicinal ingredient, and it was a necessary ingredient for concocting the stone skin potion. Lin Muyu didn't know how the young man named Li Qin managed to refine the black iron tree's medicine essence, but he was definitely far from being able to do so. He must have had help from an expert in his family. Refining the medicine essence from the black iron tree was 10 times more difficult than refining the iron pear flowers. A 121-year-old black iron tree had 121 layers of iron shell, and it had to be completely peeled off. All of this required the sharpness of the essence condensing hand. After that, he bought some black wood ear, which was also a level 4 medicinal ingredient, swallow's ear, and one of the necessary ingredients for concocting the stone skin potion. Chu Yao watched as Lin Muyu busied herself and spent almost all 10 jin coins in a short while. Although her heart ached, she didn't stop him. She could already feel that Lin Muyu was doing something big. After returning to the 100 Spirits medicine shop, Lin Muyu didn't go out at all. He tied the black iron tree to the wooden frame and stood in front of this indestructible medicinal herb tree. He opened his palms, and green chi surged from his arms. It was the essence condensing hand. Peeling off 121 layers of the black iron tree was easier said than done, but Lin Muyu had to do it. He knew that only a black iron tree that was at least 100 years old could be concocted into a level 2 stone skin potion. Otherwise, it was destined to be a failure. Li Qin's stone skin potion was only level 9, so the black iron tree was probably only a few years old. By nighttime, 47 layers of the 121 layers of the black iron tree had been peeled off. Lin Muyu's forehead was full of sweat, and his entire body was drenched in sweat. His chi was constantly being depleted, and he almost collapsed from exhaustion. However, he couldn't be careless. The essence condensing hand only expanded the fine lines of the black iron tree and didn't actually peel off the bark. As long as Lin Muyu paused for a moment, the process would definitely fail. Dong dong. Chu Yao knocked on the door. I've brought your food over. A faint aroma wafted into his nose. It was chicken stewed with mushrooms. As expected, there was an additional meal for dinner. However, Lin Muyu didn't stop his work. He only smiled and said, "Sister Chu Yao, you eat first. I can only eat after I'm done." "Then I'll wait for you." Chu Yao stubbornly stood at the side, accompanying Lin Muyu just like that. It wasn't until late at night that the last layer of the black iron tree was finally peeled off. The entire tree was covered in fine cracks, and a faint luster could be seen. Although Lin Muyu was about to collapse from exhaustion, he still took a deep breath and exerted force to increase the strength of the essence condensing hand in one go. Finally, the entire black iron tree trembled, and tiny particles of medicinal essence flew out of the tree. "They're going to fly away. What do we do?" Chu Yao looked towards the sky, both excited and anxious. Lin Muyu smiled slightly. "Don't worry, they won't be able to escape." As he said this, he opened the bucket on the side. Inside was a thick pile of swallow's ears. The moment he opened the bucket, the black iron tree's medicinal essence in the room was immediately attracted to the bucket and seeped into the swallow's ears. This was the secret of refining the stone skin medicine. After absorbing water, the swallow ears would produce an invisible suction force, and the medicinal essence of the black iron tree and the swallow ears would attract each other. After being mixed and fermented, it would become a defensive stone skin medicine. Success! Lin Muyu smiled slightly and said, Sister Chu Yao, take out these swallow ears, grind them, and dissolve them in water. That's the stone skin medicine. But Chu Yao was incomparably excited, as if she had successfully refined the stone skin medicine herself. Chapter 6. Rustle. The powdered stone skin potion was put into small bottles one by one. Some water was put into the bottles, and the medicinal essence and swallow's ears began to mix and dissolve in the water, emitting a sizzling sound. In total, 25 bottles were filled. In order to be worthy of the money spent by Eagle Eye, Lin Muyu did not become a black-hearted merchant. Otherwise, it would not be a problem to fill 40 bottles with these ingredients. Chu Yao held her chin in her hands, curiously looking at the small bottles. She was an alchemist, and could only refine level 3 potions at most. She had only heard of this stone skin potion, and her starry eyes stared at it. It was said that serious men were the best looking, but infatuated women were the most charming. Although her clothes were simple, it could not conceal the charm of a mature girl. Lin Muyu found it funny and asked, Sister Chu Yao, do you want to try? Smear a small amount on the skin, or drink a bottle in one go, and the whole body will have stone skin. The duration is related to the person's constitution. Lin Muyu was quite familiar with these things. Chu Yao raised her eyebrows, and her body exuded a faint fragrance. She sat next to Lin Muyu, and moved closer. Is it really possible? Lin Muyu was a bit flustered by her scorching gaze. Not only was this senior sister's face very beautiful, but her figure was also very good. She belonged to the type with D breasts and a perky butt. Now that she was showing great affection for Lin Muyu, it was natural that Lin Muyu could not bear it. Thus, Chu Yao held onto the chair, and slightly twisted her but closer to the table. She then used a spoon to scoop a little bit of the stone skin potion, and smeared a light layer on her wrist. With a rustling sound, a light blue luster appeared on the surface of her wrist, and in the blink of an eye, it condensed into a tortoiseshell layer of energy. Her arm was a bit numb, but she could clearly feel that the defense of her arm was much stronger. She opened her small mouth and said in shock, Is this kind of defense really that strong? Lin Muyu began to eat. This chicken stewed with mushrooms was just heated up by Chu Yao not long ago. It was very fragrant. It was the first time he had eaten something so delicious since he came to this world. He was the young master of the Long Xian group and had a net worth of over 100 million. His life in this world was too miserable. As he ate, he looked up at Chu Yao and said with a smile, You can try hitting your arm with a stick. Chu Yao picked up a small wooden stick from the side and lightly tapped it against her wrist. A light rippled, but she didn't feel any pain. Hence, she used more force to tap it again, but she still didn't feel any pain. In the end, she used more force, and the wooden stick was directly broken. Her wrist felt a slight itch. It seemed that using the stone skin potion didn't necessarily mean that there would be no pain. When the degree of impact was large enough, there would definitely be pain. After quickly finishing the meal, Lin Muyu began to refine the paralysis potion. It wasn't difficult to refine the medicinal essence of the demon snake flower and golden silk grass, but the difficult part was that the medicinal essence of the two conflicted with each other. It would take some effort to mix them together. Lin Muyu had the essence condensing hand, so the medicinal essence of the demon snake flower and golden silk grass was definitely one of the best in this world in terms of refining medicinal essence. He had his own secret to this problem. The medicinal essence of the demon snake flower and golden silk grass needed to be mixed at a high temperature. Those lower-level alchemists used an iron pot to stir-fry, but that was bound to cause impurities to mix and affect the medicinal effect. Lin Muyu's method was to raise a pile of flames and then use the essence condensing hand to control the medicinal essence to burn on the flames, directly evaporating the medicinal essence. However, above the flames was a clean iron pot with a small amount of water. The evaporated medicinal essence would condense and dissolve in the water. In addition, Lin Muyu used the essence condensing hand to guide the medicinal essence's steam, so there wasn't much leakage. Very quickly, 10 bottles of high-grade paralysis potion were successfully concocted. Late at night, Chu Yao went back to sleep, and Lin Muyu also returned to his room. His whole body was tired, and the qi in his body was almost completely drained, but Lin Muyu could clearly feel that the qi flowing in his meridians was becoming stronger and stronger. In this world, the essence condensing hand was a method of refining qi. It could make one's qi stronger and stronger, and the body's strength would also slowly recover. He could clearly feel that the power of his punch was not to be underestimated. However, compared to Hawkeye, who was ridiculously strong, it seemed that the disparity was too great. The next morning, he woke up early and carried his medicine box. Today, only Lin Muyu and Chu Yao went to deliver the goods. It was still at the market, and after waiting for less than an hour, Hawkeye arrived with a large group of mercenaries. Moreover, this time he brought a lot of mercenaries, no less than 100 people, fully equipped and fully armed. Moreover, all of them were riding on horses. "Is the goods I asked for ready, kid?" Hawkeye stopped in front of the stall. Lin Muyu handed over a total of 30 bottles of medicine, saying, "You still owe me 20 Jin coins." Hawkeye's eyebrows rose, and he dismounted, grabbing a bottle of stone-skin medicine and sniffing it. His expression was a bit strange. "Kid, you don't tell me you really have an alchemy saint at home." As far as I know, in all of Cathaya City, only the city lord Hua Tian has the qualifications to be an alchemy saint. You don't know him, do you? I don't. Lin Muyu shook his head. "I refine all the medicines myself." At this time, the sound of hooves could be heard as a young man dressed in a long white robe rode over. His clothes were adorned with the insignia of the purple Inghua flower, and there were many embroidered patterns on it. It was obvious at a glance that he was a wealthy man. He glanced at Lin Muyu, then at the medicine, and sneered. Since ancient times, those who have the ability to refine the black iron tree's medicinal energy have been at least 35 years old. This kid's words are too full of himself, and I can tell at a glance that he's a swindler. "Captain Hawkeye, don't you need an important person to capture the bloodthirsty tiger? I think he's more suitable." "Many thanks for the reminder, young city lord." Hawkeye put away the 30 bottles of medicine, a trace of killing intent flashing across his smiling face. He said to Lin Muyu, "Although your medicines are all first and second grade, but I'm not sure if they're as effective as the legends say. How about this? You come with us, and if we can successfully complete our mission, I'll pay you 20 Jin coins as promised. How about it? Go with us? To the 7-star forest. Our mission this time is to hunt a 3,000-year-old spirit beast for the young city lord, the bloodthirsty tiger." Lin Muyu didn't know the pros and cons of this, but Chu Yao was stunned. She hurriedly blocked in front of Lin Muyu, saying, "No. You won't go with you to kill the bloodthirsty tiger. If you want to go, then go by yourself." Hawkeye chuckled. "Oh, little beauty, are you unwilling to let your little man die? Don't worry, our Flame Hawk mercenary band won't let him die." Chu Yao clenched her teeth and firmly said, "No. A 3,000-year-old bloodthirsty tiger's strength is at least equivalent to a level 60 Sky Sovereign. You're only a level 42 Battle Elder. There's a huge difference of 2 realms. Even if you have more people, you may not be able to kill the bloodthirsty tiger." Hawkeye raised his eyebrows and pointed behind him, saying, "You're looking down on us too much. Do you see, we have bows and arrows smeared with paralysis medicine, and even a large ballista. The bloodthirsty tiger is just an idiot. How could it be our opponent?" Saying this, Hawkeye opened his hand and grabbed Lin Muyu's arm, saying, "Come on, kid." Lin Muyu was anxious and suddenly raised her right fist. True energy condensed around her and struck Hawkeye's right arm with a bang. The dull sound startled the surrounding people. Hawkeye was even more stunned as a faint pain came from his arm. He sneered, "Good boy, you're also a martial artist?" "I'm not a martial artist, don't take me." Lin Muyu was naturally afraid of death. "What if I have to take you today?" "Is that so?" Hawkeye pointed his finger and said, "One-eyed dragon, go capture that girl and tie her up." I want to see if this kid is willing to catch the bloodthirsty tiger with us. Yes, Captain. A mercenary who was blind in one eye immediately stepped forward to grab Chu Yao, but he didn't think that Chu Yao's body would suddenly sink. Her palm was enshrouded in 4-leaf-shaped true qi, and with a bang, she cleverly struck the mercenary's chest, unexpectedly causing him to vomit blood. Hawkeye was shocked, saying, "Two-leaf warlord? This little beauty actually has the strength of a level 19 warlord? Haha, interesting." Saying this, Hawkeye let out a roar and used one hand to threaten Lin Muyu and the other to grab Chu Yao. His aura was astonishing, and flames actually appeared in his palm. Rolling flames wrapped around his fingers as he grabbed Chu Yao. How could Chu Yao resist? With a muffled groan, the true qi in his palm instantly collapsed, and she fell into Hawkeye's hands. "Tie them up and give them a horse. Take them away," Hawkeye shouted. A few minutes later, Lin Muyu's hands were tied and thrown onto a horse. Chu Yao's hands were slightly looser and thrown behind Lin Muyu. A mercenary led the horse out of the city just like that. Everything had happened so quickly that no one tried to stop them. Perhaps no one dared to stop them either. Who didn't know of Hawkeye's infamous reputation in Kathaya City? The bumpy ride out of the city quickly left the main road and entered a dense forest. Chu Yao hugged Lin Muyu from behind, silent. "Sister Chu Yao, I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Lin Muyu could only apologize after enduring for a long time. Chu Yao smiled, "It's fine. I just hope that these mercenaries will let us go after confirming the medicine's effects. How could it be so easy?" Lin Muyu smiled bitterly. Although he was younger than Chu Yao by a year, he had experienced more things and he knew how sinister people could be. This group of mercenaries obviously had another purpose for bringing the two of them along. He just hoped that it wasn't for that sinister purpose. Behind him, Chu Yao stuck close to him, a pair of tall and plump breasts pressed against Lin Muyu's back. However, he didn't have the mood to think about anything else right now. All he could think about was how to get out of this predicament. They walked for an entire day. In the blink of an eye, it was night time. However, the Flame Hawk mercenary group didn't seem to want to stop. After eating some dry rations, they continued deeper into the forest. The surroundings became more and more desolate. There were no signs of human habitation. They even met some ferocious beasts along the way, but they were all shot down by Hawkeye. At midnight, they stopped to eat again. "Sister Chu Yao, what exactly are the level 19 warrior and level 42 battle saint you mentioned?" Lin Muyu asked while eating. Chu Yao sighed and said, "The Empire values martial arts. Almost everyone can cultivate martial arts. It's just that some people have high achievements and some have low achievements. According to their strength, all cultivators are divided into 15 levels and 5 major realms. The 5 major realms are the human realm, earth realm, heaven realm, holy realm, and God realm. Each realm is divided into 3 levels. The specific classification of the human realm, earth realm, and heaven realm are warrior, warrior, battle spirit, battle master, battle venerable, battle sage, heavenly king, and heavenly emperor. Each level is further divided into 10 levels. For example, my strength is measured at level 19. I'm classified as the 2nd level of the human realm, and Hawkeye is the 2nd level of the earth realm, battle venerable. Lin Muyu was stunned. There were too many levels. She was most likely at level 1, so it wasn't convenient for her to ask too much. She said, "Why are they hunting 3,000-year-old spirit beasts?" "Probably for the spirit of the beast or spirit stones." He didn't understand again. He looked like a complete rookie. Right at this moment, the luxuriously dressed young man appeared once more. He held a jug of wine in his hand, and his face was filled with a mocking smile as he said, "You two baits are quite congenial. Don't you know that death is approaching?" Chu Yao raised her head and said angrily, "Who are you? You don't even know my young master, Hua Wan. How dare you?" He was about to talk nonstop when he found that the girl in front of him was a stunning beauty. Was he the Hua Wan who became a grand apothecary at such a young age? Chu Yao was secretly shocked. But when she saw Hua Wan's lewd smile, she felt goosebumps and couldn't say anything for a while. Chapter 7. Titiske, what a waste to be bait. The young lord of Silver Fir City, Wan, had a trace of lust on his face. He turned around and asked with a smile, Captain Hawkeye, can this little beauty, before becoming bait, let me? Hawkeye, who was wiping his battle axe, couldn't help but sneer from the bottom of his heart. He secretly scolded the young city lord for being a lecher. However, he still maintained a respectful tone and said, this place is already in the depths of the 7 Stars forest. At any time, 1,000-year spirit beast may appear. Young city lord should not think about that matter. Wan was a little displeased. Hawkeye, my father gave you 3,000 gold coins, is it not worth a mere commoner girl? Hawkeye was very impatient. Let's go. We'll reach Blue Dragon Ridge before dawn. What are they going to do? Chu Yao was a little flustered. Lin Mu shook her head. Nothing. He knew that he had to stay calm, otherwise Chu Yao's state of mind would collapse. The 7 Stars forest was indescribably cold at night. Along the way, Hawkeye and the other mercenaries worked together to kill a 400-year-old spirit beast. It was a wolf king level gray wolf that had already condensed spirit stones. It could be regarded as the overlord of the forest. Now, it was divided into 4 pieces of meat, all of which were roasted dry without a trace of blood. Each piece was hanging on the buttocks of the 4 mercenaries. Wan still didn't seem to have given up on Chu Yao. However, Lin Muyu was guarding at the side and didn't let him succeed. When the sun rose from the east, a winding mountain ridge appeared in front of them. It really was the legendary Blue Dragon Ridge. Boss, we're here, a mercenary said. Hawkeye removed the battle axe from his shoulder, his eyes filled with battle intent. 4 days ago, a hunter saw a bloodthirsty tiger with 4 golden patterns in the Blue Dragon Ridge. As everyone knows, 1 golden pattern represents 1,000 years of age. This bloodthirsty tiger is at least 4,000 years old, so the spirit stone must have condensed. Moreover, the moment we kill it, we can obtain the spirit of the beast, which is what the young city lord wants. Wan also took out the long sword on his horse. With a clang, the blade was unsheathed. It was a good sword. He smiled and said, then how does Captain Eagle-Eye plan to kill this 4,000-year-old bloodthirsty tiger? Hawkeye said, every spirit beast has their own territory, and they won't go too far. This is already the territory of the bloodthirsty tigers, and they are very sensitive to the smell of blood. They can smell human blood from 5 kilometers away, so we just need to bleed the bait to lure the bloodthirsty tigers over. Wan couldn't help but laugh out loud. His gaze swept over Lin Mu with hatred and said, tie this brat up, this young master will bleed him. No need. Hawkeye said lightly, I can do it myself. Soon, Lin Mu and Chu Yao were both tied to a large tree. When Hawkeye walked in front of them with his battle axe, Chu Yao was completely scared to tears and scolded, Hawkeye, you beast, we have no enmity between us, why do you want to harm us? Lin Mu's eyes were cold. Hawkeye, if I don't die today, then you will. Is that so? Hawkeye sneered. This girl named Chu Yao has a certain level of strength, but what about you? Brat, you are just a piece of trash without the strength to truss a chicken. You don't even have the strength of the first layer of the human realm. The piece of trash like you should just die. Lin Mu was silent. Hawkeye raised his battle axe and made a ka sound on Lin Mu's shoulder. Fresh blood flowed out, scaring Chu Yao. She looked at Lin Mu with tears in her eyes and cried, it's all senior sister's fault. If I didn't teach you alchemy, then you wouldn't have suffered such a disaster. It's all senior sister's fault. Lin Mu endured the pain and turned around with a smile. Sister Chu Yao, what are you saying? I don't regret it, it's okay. Although she said it was okay, her heart was beating fast. Would the blood tiger really smell her blood and come? If the blood tiger came, it was a 4,000-year-old spirit beast. She didn't have any strength at all, so how could she escape? She looked up at Hawkeye's back with indescribable loathing. These mercenaries were all animals who treated human life like grass. A chill crept into Lin Mu's heart. Wasn't this world a place where the strong preyed on the weak? At this time, Wan walked over and looked coldly at Lin Mu. It doesn't matter if you were the one who refined the stone skin potion or not, but you will die here today. The number one alchemist of the younger generation of Silver Fir City will always be me, not you. So this was Hua Wan's true motive for killing her. Was he trying to preserve his position as the number one alchemist of Silver Fir City? As he spoke, Hua Wan walked over to Chu Yao and cupped Chu Yao's chin with his hand. He smiled lecherously. "Little beauty, I really can't bear to kill you. Come, let me enjoy you first." He lowered his head to kiss Chu Yao. Chu Yao desperately tried to struggle free, but Hua Wan's hand was as firm as an eagle's claw. In terms of strength, Hua Wan was likely much stronger than Chu Yao. It seemed that the rumors about the young city lord Hua Wan not only being a master of alchemy, but also a rank 29 battle spirit in martial arts. This rumor was not false. Just as Hua Wan was about to succeed, Hawkeye suddenly sneered from afar. "Young city lord, don't just focus on enjoying yourself. If the blood tiger is nearby, I'm afraid your head will be separated from your body before you've even finished taking off your clothes. My brothers and I need to set up some traps and mechanisms, so please leave immediately." Hua Wan hatefully turned around, his face filled with unwillingness. He clenched his teeth and said to Chu Yao, "Little beauty, you must survive. As long as you survive, this young master will definitely let you have a taste of my skills in bed." Chu Yao spat out a mouthful of saliva as she cried, "Bastard, scum." Hua Wan didn't think much of it and left with a laugh. In the distance, Hawkeye was commanding the mercenaries to set up an ambush. Two ballistae were hidden in the grass, pointing straight at Lin Muyu and Chu Yao. They had gone mad in order to kill the blood tiger. If the ballistae were to fire, Lin Muyu and Chu Yao would likely die as well. In addition, a group of mercenaries with bows and arrows were already lying in ambush in the grass, waiting for orders at any time. Hawkeye was the strongest in the Flame Hawk mercenary group. He was sitting on a tree branch with a battle axe in his hand, coldly looking at everything around him. After finishing his preparations, he immediately said, "Everyone, set up an ambush. Before the blood tiger appears, don't let out a fart. If anyone dares to act rashly, I will cut off their head with my axe." The cold wind was blowing, leaving only Lin Muyu and Chu Yao tied to a lonely tree. You're wound?" Chu Yao asked with tears in her eyes. Lin Muyu pretended to be relaxed and smiled. "I'm fine, Sister Chu Yao, don't worry about me. The wound has already stopped bleeding, it's fine." In fact, the blood was still flowing, even making him feel dizzy. Hawkeye was a mercenary who specialized in killing people, so he naturally knew where to cut the wound. In the blink of an eye, Lin Muyu's right arm was already dyed red with blood. More than an hour passed in the blink of an eye, but the blood tiger still hadn't appeared. "Sister Chu Yao?" Lin Muyu shook the rope. "Sister Chu Yao, don't sleep. Listen to me, don't give up." Chu Yao's tears almost dried up. "Yes, I'm listening. Go on." Lin Muyu said, "If the blood tiger appears, don't panic. Listen to my command. When I say lower your head, immediately lower your upper body, and then jump up with me in 1 second. This is our only chance, understand?" Chu Yao was stunned. Will that work? Will you listen to me?" "Yes." Chu Yao nodded lightly. "Then do as you say." Okay, Lin Muyu did not explain why she was doing this. Truth be told, there was no way to explain it. Lin Muyu actually knew about the bloodthirsty tiger. It was a level 100 boss in Conquer, the overlord of the ferocious tiger forest. Back in the day, many players were scared out of their wits. They had to die countless times before they could kill the bloodthirsty tiger. Since the silver thread grass and iron pear flowers in this world were similar to the ones in the game, perhaps the monsters would be similar as well? The blood tiger was famous for its speed and attack power. At the same time, it also had a special characteristic. Its first attack would always be a swipe of its claws, and it would always be aimed at the head of its prey. This was why it was known as the king of headshots. If they could dodge the blood tiger's first attack, this 4,000-year-old spiritual beast would definitely be able to split the tree in two. The rope was tied around their waists, so it wasn't too tight. The two of them jumped up together and let the rope slide across the tree trunk. This was the only way. Although it was quite dangerous, Lin Muyu had no other choice but to take the risk. Roar. Sure enough, they didn't have to wait for too long. A tiger's roar came from afar, and the entire forest seemed to tremble. Tigers were the kings of the forest, and now, it was a 4,000-year-old super spirit beast. The might of the tiger was even more frightening. It's coming, big sis Chu Yao, get ready. Lin Muyu whispered. Okay. Chu Yao was no longer crying. Under the law of the jungle, she also understood that she had to be strong, or no one would help her be strong. Hawkeye suddenly stood up, holding his battle axe, and shouted, "Everyone, be on guard." Roar. Another tiger's roar rang out, and a scorching wave of air swept through the forest. From afar, a ferocious tiger with fiery red fur appeared on the mountain ridge. The 4 golden stripes on its head shone brightly under the sunlight. The aura of a king of beasts was completely revealed. A pair of merciless eyes stared at Lin Muyu, who was tied to the tree. With another roar, it pounced on her without even trying to probe her. Lin Muyu judged the speed and distance of the blood tiger and suddenly said in a low voice, "Big sis Chu Yao, lower your head." What? The moment the two of them bent down, the blood tiger's sharp claws swept across, and the middle of the tree was directly broken. The moment the splinters of the wood fell, Lin Muyu shouted, "Jump!" With a light jump, the rope had already crossed the tree. At the same time, a whoosh came from the distance. It was the ballista's attack. Ignoring the sharp pain in her arm, Lin Muyu hurriedly threw herself onto Chu Yao's body, hugging her as they rolled down the grass. Behind them, several ping 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 sounds rang out. The ballista bolts that were nearly a meter long actually bounced off the blood tiger's body. The blood tiger's fur was like iron needles, and its defense was definitely not something an ordinary beast could compare to. Cast the net. Hawkeye anxiously rushed out with his battle axe. Chapter 8. Swift Movement. Hawkeye grabbed a bottle of potion and gulped it down. His feet stomped on the ground and his speed increased exponentially. This was a level 1 swift movement potion. He leaped behind the bloodthirsty tiger, grabbed his axe with both hands, and swung it down. Who would have thought that the bloodthirsty tiger wouldn't even turn its head? Instead, it swung its tail at Hawkeye. Even someone as strong as Hawkeye spat out a mouthful of blood in an instant. He was a level 42 warlord, while the 4,000-year-old bloodthirsty tiger in front of him was equivalent to a level 60 heavenly venerable. The tail swung across Hawkeye's chest, directly smashing his breastplate into pieces. However, a stone skin potion appeared on his chest. That was the effect of the stone skin potion. It was probably thanks to this potion that Hawkeye would have been killed by the bloodthirsty tiger in one blow. Hawkeye took a few steps back and slid his axe 2 meters away. He spat out a mouthful of blood and shouted, "Don't let this beast recover. Archers, use the paralysis potion." More than 20 archers jumped out of the bushes and shot arrows at the bloodthirsty tiger. However, the arrows couldn't penetrate the bloodthirsty tiger's skin at all. The skin of a 4,000-year-old spirit beast was simply too tough. Roar! The bloodthirsty tiger leapt into the crowd, its sharp claws sweeping through the air. Blood splattered everywhere, and a mercenary's head was actually smashed to pieces. The bloodthirsty tiger opened its mouth and bit off another mercenary's head, chewing it in enjoyment. Behind it, a mercenary holding a spear roared and charged forward. He raised his spear and aimed it at the bloodthirsty tiger's butt. However, with a rustling sound, only the tip of the spear pierced into the tiger's fur. The bloodthirsty tiger's tail whipped him into two. Blood gushed out. The scene was too cruel. Hua Wan gripped her sword, her face ashen. She panicked. "Captain Hawkeye, what do we do? What do we do? This bloodthirsty tiger is completely immune to the paralysis medicine." Hawkeye took out a bottle of paralysis potion and smeared it on the blade of the battle axe. The paralysis potion exuded a unique luster and lasted for about 10 minutes. In the next moment, Hawkeye shouted, "Don't be afraid of him. Brothers, don't be afraid." Once we kill this bloodthirsty tiger, our commission will be enough for the rest of our lives. You can live in a big mansion and have 3 or 4 concubines without a problem." The mercenaries raised their weapons and rushed forward. Even the archers put down their longbows and rushed forward with spears in their hands. Roar! The bloodthirsty tiger let out another furious roar, and a fiery red energy began to gather around its neck. Lin Muyu felt a chill in her heart. She hurriedly carried Chu Yao and jumped into the marsh in front of them. "What's wrong?" Chu Yao was shocked. But Lin Muyu leaned on her, not letting her speak. In the next moment, there was a loud bang, and the temperature around them soared. Flames swept through the surrounding grass. Chu Yao's eyes widened as she looked at Lin Muyu. The flames swept past Lin Muyu's head and even burned a strand of his hair. "Who?" Chu Yao was stunned. Lin Muyu's eyes were filled with calmness. She turned over and lay on the ground, enduring the pain to extinguish the flames on the back of her head. She secretly took a deep breath. The firepower of the bloodthirsty tiger in real life must be much stronger than in the game. How terrifying! Chu Yao carefully crouched at the edge of the marsh and stretched her neck to take a look. She was dumbfounded. More than 20 mercenaries from the Flame Hawk Mercenary Corps had been burned to ashes by the bloodthirsty tiger's flame energy. They were still standing there holding onto their weapons, but their bodies were charred black and emitted a strong burning smell. Chu Yao knelt on the ground. She had never seen a dead person with her own eyes, but this time, she saw so many corpses, and they were all people who had died in front of her. "Steady!" Hawkeye was still holding on to his battle axe. He growled. The 400-year bloodthirsty tiger's flame energy needs at least 3 minutes to spit out again. This is our best chance. Men, use the iron net formation to trap this beast. More than a dozen mercenaries had already mounted their horses and rushed over. They held a corner of the iron net in their hands and roared as they charged over. The moment they got close to the bloodthirsty tiger, they began to spread the net. With a buzz, a 10-meter-long net was spread out and immediately enveloped the huge body of the bloodthirsty tiger. The iron net was elastic. The bloodthirsty tiger struggled with all its might, but the more it struggled, the tighter it became. Gradually, it stopped moving. A beast will always be a beast. Stupid. A mercenary laughed loudly. "Boss, it's time. Let's go together and kill this 400-year spirit beast. It's been a long time since anyone in Kathia City, or even the entire 7-Star Forest, has killed a 400-year spirit beast. We're the first." Hawkeye didn't say a word. Instead, he let out a low shout and gathered all the true energy in his body. His battle axe ignited into flames as he charged forward, leaping into the air and striking the bloodthirsty tiger's head with all his strength. Bang! The iron net was cut apart. At the same time, a tuft of the bloodthirsty tiger's fiery red fur and a spurt of fresh blood appeared. Finally, the bloodthirsty tiger was injured. There was a gash on its head. But even though it was injured, the bloodthirsty tiger didn't show the slightest bit of anger. Instead, its brown eyes were calm, almost mocking. For a moment, Hawkeye's entire body froze in place. What he saw wasn't a beast, but a human. This 400-year spirit beast had the intelligence of a human. In fact, it was purposely letting him attack and borrowing his strength to break through the iron net. Whoosh! The bloodthirsty tiger suddenly leaped out of the iron net and bit down on Hawkeye's body. With a miserable howl and a spray of blood, Hawkeye was thrown to the ground, writhing and struggling. In the next moment, his entire right arm and axe were bitten off by the bloodthirsty tiger. "Captain!" A group of furious mercenaries rushed forward and stabbed their spears and swords into the bloodthirsty tiger's body. Once it was injured, the defense of the bloodthirsty tiger's skin would plummet, and it wouldn't be able to withstand the mercenaries' attacks. Moreover, there was no lack of capable mercenaries in this group. Lin Muyu and Chu Yao's eyes widened when they saw that many of them were using martial skills. That's right, martial skills weren't something an ordinary person could learn. Only those who had broken through to the first level of the human realm had the qualifications to learn martial skills. Roar! The bloodthirsty tiger roared and pounced left and right. In the blink of an eye, only a few dozen mercenaries remained. It's over, Hua Wan gripped her sword, but it was as if all the strength in her body had disappeared. She shook her head and said, "This 4,000-year-old spirit beast is too strong. The Flame Hawk mercenaries have been completely annihilated. Retreat, retreat for me." The 4 guards wearing the insignia of the Purple Yinhua Empire nodded in unison and escorted the young city lord onto his horse. Then, they swaggered off, completely ignoring the heavily injured mercenary captain. A sharp pain came from Lin Muyu's arm. She hurriedly helped Chu Yao up and said, "Big sister Chu Yao, let's go, or else the bloodthirsty tiger won't let us go." The 2 of them limped to their feet and were about to leave when Hawkeye, who was lying on the ground behind them, roared, "Damn it, so many of my men died, and you 2 still want to leave? Men, kill them and bury them with us." A mercenary with an injured arm immediately rushed over with a sword in hand. But before he could take 2 steps, his body suddenly trembled. The bloodthirsty tiger's tail had already cut him in half. The bloodthirsty tiger roared and rushed towards the remaining mercenaries. However, the bloodthirsty tiger's speed was getting slower and slower. In fact, its speed was even slower than a warhorse's galloping speed. Finally, at this moment, the paralysis potion began to take effect. Chu Yao's face was pale. "You let's go, no," Lin Muyu said calmly and pointed behind her. "Big sister Chu Yao, run in that direction. I'll chase after you immediately. Hurry." Chu Yao didn't argue and obediently limped over. But her legs seemed to be injured, and she couldn't walk fast at all. Clang! Walking past a mercenary's corpse, Lin Muyu pulled out the long sword he carried on his back. It was an excellent sword, and it was even engraved with blood grooves. It was rare to see such an excellent sword. Holding the long sword, Lin Muyu walked over step by step. Hawkeye had lost an arm, and his chest had been pierced by the bloodthirsty tiger's claws. His bones were broken, and even a war sovereign couldn't endure so much damage. He had already lost most of his strength. Staring at Lin Muyu, he roared angrily, "Stinking brat, what do you think you're doing? Cutting the weeds by the roots." Lin Muyu's tone was cold. He knew that if he didn't kill Hawkeye now and allowed him to return to Cathaya City alive, then not only him, but the entire 100 Spirits medicine shop would suffer. Hawkeye wouldn't let him go. After all, he didn't want anyone to know that he had suffered such a crushing defeat. "You dare, Hawkeye roared, but before he could finish speaking, Lin Muyu's long sword had already slashed across his neck. Blood spurted out of his arteries, and the mercenary captain who had dominated the world fell to the ground with his eyes wide open. I looked up and saw that the bloodthirsty tiger had already killed off the last few mercenaries. Although it had been affected by the paralysis potion, it only affected its movement speed. This wild beast was no longer just hunting for food, but killing. It wanted to kill every single person present. Grabbing a quiver and a longbow, he picked up a scabbard and hung it on his back. He immediately turned around to leave, but it was already too late. The bloodthirsty tiger roared and charged over. It wanted to kill Lin Muyu. "Shit, it's over," Lin Muyu cursed inwardly and hurriedly ran in the direction of Chu Yao. Behind him, the bloodthirsty tiger chased after him with the momentum of breaking rocks and knocking down trees. Its speed seemed to be even faster than his. In front of him, Chu Yao couldn't walk fast. She turned around with a limp, her beautiful face pale with fright. What do we do?" Lin Muyu, who was in a life-and-death situation, couldn't think too much. He grabbed Chu Yao by the waist and sprinted away. True chi flowed through his legs, and he felt as if it was growing endlessly. He suddenly felt a lot more determined, and he ran as fast as he could. In the forest, the roars never stopped. The bloodthirsty tiger chased with all its might, while Lin Muyu ran as if his life depended on it. After running like this for nearly an hour, Lin Muyu didn't feel tired at all even though he was carrying someone. Instead, it was as if a mysterious power had been injected into his legs. Every step he took was like a meteor, sweeping across the grass and rivers. Suddenly, there was a cracking sound in his mind, followed by an image of a foot. It was unlocked, which meant that Lin Muyu had unlocked a new skill in this world, Falling Star Steps. Falling Star Steps, an SS rank skill, was a skill bestowed by the martial god. It was a consummate skill for chasing and escaping. In this world, it was probably the best qinggong in the world. Chu Yao's mouth was wide open. She looked at Lin Muyu with an indescribable shock. She had never seen a human who could run like Lin Muyu. As they ran, the bloodthirsty tiger could no longer catch up, so Lin Muyu stopped and waited for it. Not long after, the bloodthirsty tiger let out a miserable howl and actually fell to the ground. Is it dead? Lin Muyu turned around and carefully looked at the bloodthirsty tiger's corpse. She saw that the tiger was lying there motionlessly, and a fiery red energy was born from its body, hovering in the air. It's dead, Chu Yao said with certainty. Only when a spirit beast dies will it release its beast spirit. You've killed a 4,000-year-old bloodthirsty tiger. Lin Muyu gasped for breath, and a heavy feeling appeared in his legs. The backlash from Falling Star Steps was coming. Although it was extremely painful, he was happy from the bottom of his heart. This time, he had simply escaped from death. He had already given up all hope, thinking that he and Chu Yao would definitely die here. That would be too much of a pity. Such a beautiful senior sister, if she died before anything happened, wouldn't that be too much of a pity? Chapter 9. Looking at the longbow hanging on her body, she felt that it was a pity that she hadn't been able to use it. However, Lin Muyu didn't regret it. It wasn't a bad idea to have these weapons. At least in this dangerous 7 Stars forest, she was no longer defenseless. Chu Yao walked up excitedly and pulled Lin Muyu's hand. You, the wild beast spirit, is a cultivator's most precious thing. Hurry up and refine the bloodthirsty tiger's wild beast spirit. It's a rare treasure. If you don't refine it within 2 hours, it'll disappear on its own. Lin Muyu was dumbfounded. How do I refine it? You didn't comprehend a martial soul? Chu Yao was dumbfounded. No. Lin Muyu was still dumbfounded. Martial soul? What's a martial soul? Chu Yao wanted to die. How could someone be strong enough to torture a bloodthirsty tiger to death and not know what a martial soul was? She originally thought that Lin Muyu was at least in the 2nd level of the mortal realm, but now it seemed that she was just an ordinary person with a slightly stronger physique. Then you stay here and guard it. I'll refine it. But Lin Muyu held her long sword and stood guard at the side. Chu Yao sat down cross-legged and closed her eyes. True energy circled around her body. The wild beast spirit that the bloodthirsty tiger produced after its death slowly gathered around her and seeped into her body bit by bit. However, she seemed to only be able to absorb a very small part of it. Moreover, Chu Yao's expression was unusually tired. She was sweating profusely, and not long after, her clothes were almost drenched. Sister Chu Yao, are you okay? Compared to Chu Yao, Lin Muyu was an absolute rookie. She didn't know anything at all. Chu Yao frowned and didn't say a word. After waiting for a full 2 hours, Chu Yao finally let out a breath and opened her eyes. Immediately, she felt as if she had been reborn. Even Lin Muyu could see the change. She smiled and said, "Big sister Chu Yao, did you improve in some way?" Chu Yao nodded with a smile. Yes, I've broken through the 2nd level of the mortal realm and entered the 3rd level. Seeing Lin Muyu's confused expression, Chu Yao couldn't help but laugh. The martial artists on the continent are measured by numbers. 2 hours ago, my strength was estimated to be level 19, and I won't hide it from you. I've been stuck at level 19 for 2 years now, unable to find an opportunity to break through. This time, with the help of the bloodthirsty tiger's beast spirit, I was able to break through. Speaking of which, when I reached level 9, it was grandfather who killed a 50-year-old wild boar's beast spirit to help me break through. It's just a pity. She looked at the large amount of beast's soul quickly dissipating and said regretfully, "It's a pity I'm too weak. I can only absorb less than 1% of this 4,000-year-old beast spirit energy. It's such a waste. Hurry up. Use your weapon to pry open this bloodthirsty tiger's head. There should be spirit stones inside." "Oh, Lin Muyu walked forward, pulled out her sword, and slashed at the wound left by Hawkeye several times. Finally, the bloodthirsty tiger's head was cut open. The brain, which reeked of blood, flowed to the ground, but there was a stone with a fiery red luster embedded in the skull. Chu Yao smiled happily. There really is a spirit stone. Hurry up and pry it out. With a bang, the spirit stone fell into Lin Muyu's hand. It was warm. Chu Yao smiled. A 4,000-year-old spirit stone is a great treasure. You keep it well. Don't let anyone else know of its existence other than my sister. Lin Muyu stuffed the spirit stone into her pocket. Then, she cut off a piece of the bloodthirsty tiger's hind leg with her sword and stuffed it into her pouch. This was their rations when they got out of the 7-star forest. If they could find a fire source, they might be able to eat some cooked meat. Let's go? Chu Yao pulled Lin Muyu's hand and said with a smile, "What are you looking at? This place is too dangerous. There are all kinds of spirit beasts over 1,000 years old. If we meet another one, we won't be able to leave." "No, we can't just leave like this." Lin Muyu frowned. "Sister Chu Yao, I want to find the bloodthirsty tiger's cave. You should go back first." Chu Yao said, "What's there to find in a tiger's cave?" Lin Muyu smiled. "As far as I know, the bloodthirsty tiger's favorite hobby is to collect rare treasures. The stronger the bloodthirsty tiger, the better the treasure it collects. This bloodthirsty tiger is 4,000 years old, so it's already an old monster. We can't let it go." Chu Yao couldn't help but laugh. "You little brat, you really aren't afraid of death. Fine, but do you know where the bloodthirsty tiger's cave is? Before the bloodthirsty tiger dies, it is very fond of its cave, so it will run in the direction of its cave. Just now, when the bloodthirsty tiger died from blood loss, it changed its direction, and its head was facing the direction of the cave." "Really?" Lin Muyu nodded confidently. This was indeed the setting in Conquer. From the herbs to the bloodthirsty tiger, everything in the game had been verified here. This convinced Lin Muyu without a doubt. Chu Yao nodded silently and said, "All right then. Help me break through to rank 20 and I'll go with you." "Is a rank 20 battle spirit very powerful?" Sister Chu Yao is so happy. "Of course. Although there are countless martial practitioners above rank 20 in Silver Fir City, but the War Holy Temple's rules state that battle spirits between rank 20 and rank 29 can receive 1 gold coin from the War Holy Temple branches every month. It's not much, but it's not a small amount either. If I can get this 1 gold coin, my grandfather will be very happy." Lin Muyu couldn't help but smile when she saw that Chu Yao was as happy as a little girl. Then she walked towards the tiger's cave with her long sword in hand. After running madly for an hour with falling star steps, Qin Lai's legs were a bit tired, and his crooked gait was quite comical. Even Chu Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter. Lin Muyu didn't mind and continued to walk in this comical manner. Chu Yao felt a bit bad and supported him as they walked. She said softly, "Spirit beasts often appear at night, so we need to find the tiger's nest before sunset. Then, we'll spend the night in the nest and leave at dawn tomorrow. We'll return to Silver Fir City before sunset." Chu Yao was a smart girl. She knew that this area was the territory of the bloodthirsty tiger, and that the bloodthirsty tiger's lair was a place that other low-tier spirit beasts wouldn't dare to challenge. Thus, spending the night in the tiger's lair was relatively safe. Fortunately, the two of them were quite lucky. After walking for less than 2 hours, they found the bloodthirsty tiger's lair. It was a lair inside a cave. Using the principles of flint wood and resin to make a torch, they lit it up and entered the lair. Immediately, a fishy smell wafted into the air. The lair was filled with bones. There were beast bones, human bones, and even a corpse wearing armor. The flesh and blood had been ripped out of the armor. Chu Yao looked a bit terrified, but Lin Muyu gripped her hand and gestured for her not to panic. After entering the depths of the cave, it was very dry and warm. The bloodthirsty tiger's bed was covered with hay, but the treasures seemed to be some useless stones. There were also a few gold and silver coins, which were probably left behind by the hunters. Other than that, there was also a pair of daggers. They were sparkling and translucent. One look and anyone could tell that it was no ordinary item. Lin Muyu waved the dagger and smiled. Not bad. Big sis Chu Yao, it's yours. Chu Yao was pleasantly surprised. You're really giving it to me? I don't like short weapons. All right. Chu Yao gripped the dagger with an indescribable joy in her heart. The dagger looked extremely exquisite, and she could sense the sentience within it when she held it in her hand. It was clearly a soul-refined weapon that contained a beast soul. Although Chu Yao didn't know much about the classification of weapons in the Empire, she knew that soul-refined weapons were no ordinary items. At the very least, they were far superior to the weapons of Eagle Eye and Hua Wan. Given Hua Wan's status, even the young lord of Kathia City didn't have a weapon like this. It was enough to show the value of this dagger. Her heart thumping wildly, Chu Yao looked at Lin Muyu's handsome profile and hurriedly lowered her head, not daring to look again. Aside from the dagger, there was also a metal box in the corner of the cave. Using the dagger to pry it open, there was a book covered in dust. Chu Yao pursed her lips and blew on it. Immediately, the book's name and half of the rotted binding were revealed. On the cover, there were 3 ancient characters: Divine Medicine Canon, God of Medicine Codex? Lin Muyu smiled. It looks like we've really picked up a treasure. Sister Chu Yao, Grandpa hasn't been able to break through to the Grandmaster realm. He must need a book like this, right? Chu Yao nodded repeatedly. Yes, I probably won't be able to understand it with my current level of cultivation. Bring it back to Grandpa. All right. Chu Yao flipped open the tattered book. As expected, she couldn't understand the words on it. The changes in medicinal essence and formulas were also extremely profound. She stuffed it into her clothes and brought it back for Chu Feng to study. As for Lin Muyu, she was a Grandmaster alchemist and knew all the formulas from level 1 to God level. This God of Medicine Codex was nothing to her. After a few glances, she realized that there were many words she couldn't understand. She felt that she needed to read more. As night fell, they could no longer continue their journey. After a brief discussion with Chu Yao, they decided to set up camp outside the cave. There were simply too many corpses in the tiger's lair. Chu Yao was worried that she wouldn't be able to sleep at all. They hadn't rested since the night before. Now, they finally had a chance to rest. It was unknown where Lin Muyu got a steel helmet from. She started a bonfire outside the tiger's lair and filled the helmet with water. Then she cooked the tiger's meat. The meat of a 4,000-year-old spirit beast was extremely rare, so it was extremely difficult to cook it. After 2 whole hours, the fragrance of the meat permeated the air. The two had long been starving, so they shared the meat and took turns drinking the soup. After a full meal, they laid down dried grass under a tree in the marsh as a bed for the night. Very soon, the exhausted Chu Yao fell asleep. Lin Muyu applied a layer of his own medicine on the wound, and it had basically begun to heal. He lay there and looked at the stars in the sky, recalling everything that had happened since he came to this world. Fortunately, Grandpa Chu Feng and Chu Yao had taken him in. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to survive in this world where the strong preyed on the weak. But now, Lin Muyu discovered that not only had he mastered the art of weaponsmithing, but he had also awakened the fallen star step. Moreover, the true qi in his body was expanding day by day. He was confident that he could become a powerful warrior, so what he needed to do now was to become stronger and stronger. He needed to protect Grandpa Chu Feng and Sister Chu Yao. Perhaps he couldn't go back anymore, but in this world, they were the only people he could rely on. At this time, Chu Yao let out a soft moan. Probably because she felt cold, she buried her face in Lin Muyu's bosom. Suddenly, a wave of fragrance rushed into his bosom. Even Chu Yao's warm breath hit against Lin Muyu's neck, making him unable to help but let his imagination run wild. Looking down, he saw Chu Yao hugging him, a pair of snow-white breasts pressing against his chest. Under the illumination of the firelight, the breasts moved up and down with each breath, like a pair of translucent, warm, and soft jade rabbits. In a daze, Lin Muyu also fell asleep. After an unknown amount of time, he suddenly felt Chu Yao move in his bosom. He opened his eyes and was just about to say something, but his mouth was covered by Chu Yao's hand. Chu Yao's pair of beautiful eyes looked at him, then she slowly raised her head and gestured upwards. Lin Muyu looked up and was immediately scared out of his wits. He saw a giant wolf covered in green fur standing on a rock above the depression, and its merciless eyes were staring at the two of them. That was the eyes of a predator that wanted to enjoy its prey. Swift wolf. Lin Muyu's heart skipped a beat. Swift wolves were very agile beasts, and their attacks were like lightning. If they appeared in a group, it would be even more terrifying. Chapter 10. Although there was only one wolf in front of them, it did not mean that it was easy to deal with. Lin Muyu and Chu Yao slowly sat up and confronted the wolf. Then they quietly stood up. Chu Yao held 2 daggers in her hands while Lin Muyu slowly pulled out her steel sword. The wolf did not immediately attack, which was in line with its nature. It was looking for the best opportunity to attack. Fortunately, Chu Yao woke up early, otherwise, the two of them were doomed to die. Chu Yao slowly moved and walked in front of Lin Muyu. She was protecting him. She held 2 daggers in her hands and true energy circled around her body. As a newly promoted level 20 battle spirit, Chu Yao's true energy automatically condensed into a piece of armor about the size of a bowl and slowly flew around her body. This was the signature martial skill of a battle spirit, soul armor. Every battle spirit could condense a soul armor to help defend. A level 29 battle spirit could condense up to 5 soul armors and was called a 5 armor battle spirit. Right now, Chu Yao was a genuine 1 armor battle spirit. In terms of martial arts cultivation, Lin Muyu was far inferior to Chu Yao, so she did not dare to be careless. She held her long sword and stared at the wolf. There was no technique to deal with a wolf, only strength to kill it. Chu Yao calmly looked at the wolf's tail and could not help but secretly complain. She whispered, "8-tailed wolf, this is bad. This is an 800-year-old wolf? Is it very strong?" Lin Muyu asked. Chu Yao said, "An 800-year-old spirit beast has the strength of a level 45 war elder. It is much stronger than Hawkeye. You must be careful. We were even able to pass through the bloodthirsty tiger. We cannot die in the hands of this 800-year-old wolf." Lin Muyu nodded silently and took out a bottle of stone skin medicine, saying, "Sister Chu Yao, you're stronger than me and the dagger in your hand should be quite sharp. I'll attract the swift wolf in a bit while you wait for an opportunity to attack. Whether or not we can kill this beast will depend on our cooperation." Chu Yao was stunned. You have to be careful. Rest assured." Lin Muyu tilted her head back and drank a bottle of stone skin potion. She felt her body become sturdier, and ripples of energy appeared on the surface of her skin. This was the effect of strengthening her defense. After that, he poured a whole bottle of paralysis medicine on the arrows in the quiver behind him. Holding the longbow, he slowly left the place. His movements were very slow, and he was not in a hurry to move forward. When he was about 5 meters away from Chu Yao, he began to knock the arrow. Circulating his true qi in his arm, he actually pulled the bow into a full moon shape. The sharp arrow flew straight, but the swift wolf was even faster. With a roar, it leaped and pounced towards Lin Muyu. Its speed was too fast. After the arrow missed, the swift wolf had already pounced on Lin Muyu. This leap was at least 10 meters. As expected of an 800-year-old spirit beast, it had almost cultivated into a demon. Seeing the swift wolf open its mouth to bite, it obviously couldn't let her neck be bitten, otherwise she would die. Lin Muyu hurriedly raised her left arm to block. With a poochie sound, a sharp pain came from her arm. The swift wolf's bite left a few impressive teeth marks on her petrified skin. How strong was its bite? If not for the first-grade stone skin potion, perhaps this bite would have bitten Lin Muyu's arm into 2 pieces. The swift wolf shook its head vigorously to bite his arm. Under the sharp pain, Lin Muyu raised her hand and pulled out her long sword. With a poochie sound, the sword penetrated the swift wolf's thigh, but it was not fatal. Lin Muyu hurriedly pulled out her sword and stabbed it again. Chu Yao also rushed over from the back, and suddenly waved both of her daggers. Poochie! The daggers were extremely sharp, and directly cut off 2 large pieces of meat from the swift wolf's buttocks. Awoo! The swift wolf roared in pain and immediately let go of Lin Muyu's arm. It took a few steps back, raised its head and howled to the sky, and the surrounding ground quickly rolled up a cold whirlwind. Chu Yao hurriedly shouted, "You? Be careful, it's the wind blade, the unique ability of the swift wolf." Before she finished speaking, several wind blades had already swept up. Kacha-kacha, sounds rang out, and Lin Muyu's clothes were immediately cut into pieces. Chu Yao's movements were even more agile. She held her dagger and retreated a few steps, dodging the wind blades. Roar! The swift wolf roared. It was very smart. It knew that Chu Yao was a greater threat to it, so it roared and rushed over. Chu Yao did not have the blessing of the stone skin potion, so how could she resist the bite? She hurriedly opened her hand and shouted, "Little Purple!" With a harsh cry, a purple mink pet came out of Chu Yao's body. It was Chu Yao's beast martial spirit. GG! The purple mink pounced on the opponent, but the strength of the level 20 war spirit martial spirit could not be said to be strong. It was directly hit by the swift wolf's palm and flew into the grass. Chu Yao fell to the ground with a cry and subconsciously put the daggers in front of her neck. The swift wolf opened its mouth and directly bit down. Buzz! Just as the wolf's teeth fell on the daggers, the 2 daggers suddenly trembled and a wolf jumped out from the daggers. With a howl, it collided with the swift wolf. Bang! With a loud explosion, the swift wolf retreated. Chu Yao looked at the 2 daggers in shock. After this blow, the luster of the 2 daggers had dimmed a lot. She never thought that the beast soul in the daggers would actually save her life. The swift wolf was injured but did not die. It turned over and pounced on Lin Muyu behind it. Lin Muyu saw it clearly. She quickly held the sword with both hands and used all the strength in her body to stab. Poochie! The steel sword went straight through the swift wolf's body, but it did not seem to kill it. The swift wolf's claws crazily scratched her chest, leaving a shocking wound in the blink of an eye. While Lin Muyu was struggling to resist the swift wolf's claws, she felt a heart-wrenching pain. She freed her right hand and suddenly grabbed the scattered arrows on the ground and stabbed the swift wolf's abdomen. Poochie! The arrows covered with paralysis drug-pierced the swift wolf's skin. The swift wolf howled, but it still opened its mouth and fiercely bit in the air. Lin Muyu was so scared that she did not dare to stick her head out. Because if the swift wolf bit her neck, she was afraid that she would definitely die here. In this way, the stalemate lasted for a full half a minute. The swift wolf's movement began to slow down. It had been affected by the paralysis drug. But when Lin Muyu relaxed, it quickly opened its sharp teeth and bit at Lin Muyu's neck. In an instant, Lin Muyu faced the threat of death. She did not know where the strength came from, but she suddenly clenched her fist and punched. Boom! The moment it hit the swift wolf, the fist was full of strange dancing power, as if space was distorted. At the same time, a voice passed through Lin Muyu's heart, chaos of all lives. 7 planets dark force? The swift wolf flew up with a howl. The internal organs in its abdomen were directly smashed by this punch. Lin Muyu had experienced how hard the swift wolf's skin was. Even a sharp long sword might not be able to easily pierce through it. But her own punch actually shattered the wolf's skin. If she could really have the power of 7 planets dark force, it would be too terrifying. Kacha, holding the long sword, she slashed horizontally, and the wolf's head flew up. This 800-year-old swift wolf was finally killed by her and Chu Yao. Before she had time to be happy, she felt a sharp pain in her chest. Looking down, she saw a bloody mess. The injury was too serious. Dumbfounded, Chu Yao looked at Lin Muyu's shocking attack, and then looked at Lin Muyu's wound. She was so scared that tears fell. What should I do? What should I do? Lin Muyu, on the other hand, was much calmer. He took out a bottle of gold sore medicine from his waist and poured it on the wound to stop the bleeding. He slumped to the ground as if all the energy in his body had been sucked out. It hurts? If only I had a level 4 healing potion. Chu Yao wiped her tears and rushed to his side. I'm sorry. It's all senior sister's fault. Looking at this senior sister crying beside her, Lin Muyu couldn't help but feel speechless and warm in her heart. She gently stroked Chu Yao's hair and comforted her with a smile. I'm fine. I won't die. Sister Chu Yao, don't worry. Chu Yao blamed herself. She was clearly a level 20 war spirit, and her martial arts cultivation was far better than Lin Muyu's. However, when fighting against the Swift Wolf, her performance was not even half of Lin Muyu's. This kid, who obviously didn't know martial arts, was so fierce. In fact, Chu Yao didn't know that everything he did was to protect her. On the side, the beast spirit of the Swift Wolf condensed in the air for a long time. Lin Muyu said, Sister Chu Yao, why didn't you refine the beast spirit? You killed it, I can't. Chu Yao said, It doesn't matter. Lin Muyu smiled. Didn't you tell me before? Only people with martial spirits can absorb the beast spirit to cultivate their own martial spirit. I don't even have a martial spirit, so how can I absorb it? Chu Yao sat on the side, her eyes covered with a layer of mist, and said, You don't have to be so good to me. No, this is what I want. Chu Yao was moved to death, but due to her shyness, she didn't know what to say. She could only start to absorb the beast spirit. In fact, an 800-year-old beast spirit should be absorbed by a level 45 war elder of the same strength, and they should be able to absorb about 100% of its power. For her, a level 20 war spirit to refine it, she could only absorb less than 5% of its power. After Chu Yao refined the beast spirit, the sky was already bright. Lin Muyu's first-tier gold sore medicine was indeed miraculous. The wounds were all healed and no longer bleeding. Even the pain was reduced by a lot. Raising the sharp sword, he split open the Swift Wolf's head and took out another spirit stone. Chu Yao was extremely happy. She held the spirit stone and said, The probability of an 800-year-old spirit beast producing a spirit stone is less than 20%. Our luck is really good. When you start cultivating in the future, this spirit stone will be very useful for you. Chu Yao stuffed the spirit stone into Lin Muyu's waist pocket, then supported him and said, We should go home. After 2 days and 2 nights, grandfather must be very worried about our safety. That's right. Lin Muyu stood up, but felt the power in her body surging. How was it like she was seriously injured? As he moved forward, he kept repeating in his heart, 7 luminaries demon emperor, 7 luminaries demon emperor, has your soul already taken root in my heart? Why was the killing intent in my heart so heavy the moment I killed the Swift Wolf? Senior sister, Hua Wan and his guards have escaped. They should have returned to Silver Fir City a long time ago. Lin Muyu said. Chu Yao nodded. Yes, so what? Hua Wan isn't dead, but Eagle Eye and his men are all dead. Do you think Hua Wan will let us go? Chu Yao finally thought of this and couldn't help but feel a chill in her heart. She said, Hua Wan is the city lord Hua Tian's son. If he knows that we're still alive, he probably won't let us live. After all, we know too many of his scandals. Yes. Lin Muyu frowned and said, Maybe Silver Fir City is no longer suitable for us to live in. Chu Yao bit her lips and said, But grandfather has lived in Silver Fir City for generations, and the 100 Spirits medicine shop is his everything. Now that we have the God of Medicine tome to help us rebuild our family business, I don't think he will be willing to leave Silver Fir City. Then, let's go back first and discuss this with grandfather. Alright. Chapter 11. Silver Fir City. Night had fallen, and the city was ablaze with lights. At this time, a man and a woman dressed in rags finally stumbled to the city gates. If it weren't for Chu Yao's beautiful face, she might have been mistaken for a beggar. Lin Muyu was leaning on a walking stick made from a tree branch with one hand and clutching the wound on her chest with the other. Although her face and clothes were covered in blood, her handsome face didn't look the slightest bit disheveled. She also had a longbow, a quiver of arrows, and a steel arrow on her back, and 2 hares in her hands. Therefore, she looked no different from a hunter. The city guards didn't make things difficult for her. They just thought that a hunter and a woman had been injured by a wild beast, and so they let them into the city. It was already very late when they returned to Hundred Spirits Apothecary. When Chu Yao knocked on the door and called out Grandpa, the door immediately opened. Chu Feng appeared in the yard with a worried look on his face. His eyes were red, and his entire body seemed tense. When he saw that Chu Yao was safe and sound, his heart finally relaxed. "Yao, where have you been? You haven't come back for 2 days and 2 nights. We've searched almost every corner of Silver Fir City," Chu Yao said weakly. "Grandpa, you and I are both slightly injured. Have Luo Kai make some food and send it to Yu's room. We'll talk about the details in his room." Chu Feng nodded. Luo Kai was the youngest apprentice in the 100 Spirits Apothecary. He was only 17 years old, but he was very smart. He quickly went to prepare the food. Chu Feng supported Chu Yao, then looked at Lin Muyu. He couldn't help but ask, "You, how are your injuries?" Lin Muyu said, "Let's go in and talk." When they entered the room, Chu Yao and Lin Muyu sat side by side on the bed. Chu Yao also sat down on a rattan chair. She asked anxiously, "What happened? Why were you gone for so long?" Chu Yao immediately recounted everything that had happened in the past 2 days. After listening, Chu Feng gritted his teeth. Who would have thought that the young city lord Hua Wan would be so lawless? Those damned mercenaries treat human life like grass, treating the laws of the empire like child's play. How abominable! Lin Muyu took out the god's alchemy cannon. The binding lines were already damaged. She carefully held it in her hands. "Grandpa, can you understand these?" Chu Feng received it and only read the first page before his entire body began to tremble. He had sunk into a crazed excitement and said with a flushed face, "The god of medicine's tome, it's the real god of medicine's tome, the treasured tome renowned by the god of medicine Wang Lin. Heavens, who knows how many people in the world yearn for this tome, but you guys have actually obtained it." "Grandpa," Chu Yao pouted. "The alchemy god," Chu Yao said. "Of course. The most basic formula in the god's canon is at least level 5. It would be strange if you could understand it." As he spoke, Chu Feng raised the oil lamp and leaned forward. He said to Lin Muyu with concern, "You, take off your clothes. Let Grandpa see your wound." Lin Muyu did as she was told and took off her shirt. Immediately, dozens of crisscrossing wolf claw marks appeared on her chest. Chu Feng felt a lump in his throat. "Poor child, you must have suffered a great deal at that time, right?" "I'm fine. I just didn't want to become the wolf's meal." "You really killed the 800-year-old wolf with your own hands?" "Yes." Chu Yao continued, "I remember, at that time, I was covered in blood, and punched out such a terrifying fist. Even the internal organs of the swift wolf were beaten out. Grandfather, I feel that Ayu's potential must far surpass mine, perhaps. He is truly suitable for martial cultivation." "Really?" Chu Feng's murky eyes suddenly lit up. He asked happily, Are you willing to learn martial arts? If you are, I will take you to Silver Fir City's War Sanctuary tomorrow morning to confirm your strength. No matter how much money you have to spend, Grandpa will definitely hire the best teachers to teach you martial arts. How about it?" "Yes, Grandpa. I am willing." Lin Muyu nodded seriously. He already knew that in this world, without enough strength, one would be at the mercy of others. "We will leave tomorrow morning and attend the medicine ceremony in the morning." "Are we still going to attend the medicine ceremony?" Lin Muyu furrowed her brows and said, "If Hua Wan recognizes me and Chu Yao, he definitely won't let us go. We must attend." Chu Feng's attitude was extremely resolute as he said, "But don't worry, Ayu. No one will be able to hurt you guys tomorrow. Moreover, once our medicines obtain a good ranking and become a medicine hall personally appointed by the Emperor's envoy, no one will be able to touch us then." "The Emperor's envoy?" "Yes." Chu Feng smiled as he looked at the confused youth and explained, "This news has already spread throughout the entire Silver Fir City. The imperial capital will be sending a special envoy to participate in this year's medicinal ceremony, and he will also be promoting the top 3 medicinal houses. If we can fight for this spot, then no one will be able to do anything to us. Not even Hua Wan, not even his father Hua Tian. Not to mention, my old friend will also be coming to Silver Fir City with the special envoy. All right then. We will listen to Grandpa. Before long, Luo Kai came in with dinner. Chu Yao and Lin Muyu had been starving for a long time. After a quick meal, they went to bed. Late at night, Chu Feng did not close his eyes. Instead, he held the God of Medicine tome in a daze. After a long while, he looked at the beast blood in the small bottle beside him. It was the blood of a bloodthirsty tiger. It had a strong nature and never congealed. Instead, it bubbled as if it was boiling. This was the blood Lin Muyu had collected after the death of the bloodthirsty tiger. There were a dozen bottles in total, all of them grade 5 medicinal ingredients. At this time, Chu Feng made up his mind to refine a divine medicine. The divine medicine was an enhanced version of the strength medicine. It could stimulate the user's potential to an even greater extent, allowing them to erupt with unprecedented power in a short period of time. Chu Feng studied the formula and refining method recorded in the God of Medicine tome for an entire night. By daybreak, the 2 divine medicines had been refined and placed to the side. Let's go. Chu Feng knocked on Lin Muyu's door early in the morning. When the young man opened the door, Chu Feng immediately grabbed his hand and rushed out of the courtyard like a child. Today was like a rebirth for Chu Feng. He hadn't been so happy in a long time. There was only one holy war temple in Kathaya City, and it was called the Holy Hall by the common people. It was the holiest place in the hearts of martial practitioners, and almost all experts came from this place. When Chu Feng brought Lin Muyu to the Holy Hall, there was only one teacher on duty. He was a man around 30 years old with a pair of rat-like eyes. No matter how one looked at him, he didn't look like a good person. He slapped the table and said, "You want to test your strength, right? 1 silver coin." Chu Feng immediately handed over a silver coin and said to Lin Muyu, "Go." The teacher glanced at Lin Muyu and found that there was almost no energy lingering around the young man's body. He couldn't sense any fluctuations of martial spirit energy either. This didn't make sense unless the young man didn't have any power at all. He pushed a crystal ball forward and said, "Cover it with your hand and condense your strongest power into the testing crystal." Lin Muyu placed her hand on the crystal and circulated the true qi in her body to condense it in her palm. This was similar to the essence condensation hand plan. The crystal ball erupted with light and the testing apparatus beside it began to pulse. No way, such powerful energy fluctuations? The teacher was shocked out of his wits. But good things didn't last long. After a few seconds, the testing crystal dimmed and there wasn't even a single record on the apparatus. Ha, what a joke, how laughable. The heavens actually played such a big joke on us, huh? The teacher suddenly looked up and laughed maniacally. Chu Feng was stunned and asked, "Mister, what exactly happened?" The teacher glanced at Lin Muyu and said, "The energy fluctuations in this brat's body are extremely strong. It can be said that it's something I've never seen in my life. Unfortunately, his physique should be the legendary Heaven Cripple." Heaven Cripple? Chu Feng was startled. The teacher continued with a smile. The so-called Heaven Cripple is a natural disability in martial arts. His meridians are naturally blocked, so he can't quickly refine true qi and can't learn or use combat techniques. What a pity. Men, take him back. This brat is not born to learn martial arts. For a moment, Lin Muyu's heart fell to the bottom of the valley. She was actually a Heaven Cripple. Wasn't the heavens playing a bit too big of a joke on her? I'm sorry. On the way back, Chu Feng comforted her repeatedly. Lin Muyu comforted him instead, saying, "Grandpa, it's all right. Even if I can't practice martial arts, at least I can still refine medicine. It's all the same." Within the sacred hall, a man dressed in fiery red leather armor looked outside through the window lattice. His eyes were shining brightly as he took off his gloves and placed them on the table. He smiled faintly. "Heaven Cripple? Such a strange breed hasn't appeared in over 1,000 years. Heaven Cripple." To the side, a soldier was holding a new set of clothes. He said, "General Ning, the medicine ceremony is about to begin. Please change your clothes. The city lord is already waiting for you at the city lord's residence. He'll be going to welcome the special envoy together. Alright. The medicine ceremony could be said to be a grand occasion in Silver Fir City. This year's medicine ceremony had even received the attention of the imperial capital. The emperor himself had sent a special envoy to inspect the ceremony. The disciples of the 100 Spirits Apothecary were also in high spirits. They had prepared a total of 4 medicines for the competition. Among them were Chu Feng's Divine Strength Medicine, Lin Muyu's Stone Skin Medicine, and Chu Yao's and Wang Ying's medicines. The most important one was naturally Chu Feng's Divine Strength Medicine. It was a grade 5 medicine. The medicine ceremony was being held in the open field in front of the city lord's residence. By the time Lin Muyu, Chu Yao, and the others had arrived, the people from hundreds of medicine shops had also arrived. There were also countless commoners gathered around to watch. Although Silver Fir City was a small city, it was still incomparably prosperous because of today's grand event. I heard that the Emperor's special envoy will be coming today. I wonder who it will be, but it must be a high official. The commoners were discussing spiritedly. Yeah, how else could he be the Emperor's special envoy? Under the expectant gazes of the crowd, a procession slowly approached from the distance. It was led by a heavily armored cavalryman, followed by a lightly armored guard with a sword, and finally, a carriage with 6 carriages. Chu Yao was momentarily taken aback. 6 carriages? Even the emperor only sends 9 carriages when he goes on patrol. Who could it be? Lin Muyu, however, saw the word Tang fluttering on the flag at the side of the carriage. Tang. Wang Ying was also taken aback. 6 carriages of dignity, and surnamed Tang. Could it be the Duke of Zhonglan, Tang Lan? Chu Feng hurriedly shouted, Wang Ying, don't speak nonsense. How can you call the Duke of Zhonglan's name directly? Wang Ying lowered his head. Master, I'm sorry. At this moment, the carriage slowly stopped in front of the city lord's mansion. The curtain was lifted, and a young girl wearing a dress appeared in front of the crowd. The dress was very unique, embroidered with exquisite patterns, and with a single glance, one could tell that the workmanship was very fine. Under the long dress was a pair of snow-white jade-like legs, smooth and flawless. She was simply like a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. This young girl was born with the spirit of heaven and earth, and her peerlessly beautiful appearance was suffocating. Just when the crowd was dumbfounded, she had already turned around and leaped off the carriage. A pair of exquisite little boots stepped on the bricks of the city, and she said with a smile, We're finally here. My butt is about to blossom from sitting. The crowd almost fell down together. Who would have thought that such a delicate and jade-like young girl would actually speak so mischievously? City Lord Hua Tian walked forward with a group of officials, knelt on the ground, cupped his fists, and said, Subordinate Hua Tian greets Princess Shi. Chapter 12. It's actually Tang Xiaoxi. Heavens. On the side, second senior brother Zhao Xian's face was flushed red as he stared at the beautiful girl from afar, seemingly unable to control himself. Lin Muyu was stunned. Tang Xiaoxi? Who's that? Zhao Xian glanced at him disdainfully. You don't even know who Tang Xiaoxi is? She's ranked second among the top 10 beauties of Lanyan City. How can you not know her? Top 10 beauties? Lin Muyu seemed to understand something. So there was a ranking like this in this world. Zhao Xian stared at her from afar with an infatuated look on her face. She said, Tang Xiaoxi's beauty is truly unparalleled in Cathaya City. This was something Lin Muyu had to admit. Tang Xiaoxi was indeed a heavenly beauty, and a very intelligent girl at that. Even Chu Yao beside her paled in comparison. Everyone's lowering their heads. Chu Feng shouted in a low voice. You stinky brats, stop looking. Anyone who blasphemes Princess Shi's looks is a crime punishable by death. Everyone lowered their heads. Tang Xiaoxi was only 2 meters away from them, and all they could see was a pair of small boots and an absolute domain of about 20 centimeters between the boots and her skirt. Her skin was as fair as ice, and her bones were as white as snow. Lin Muyu felt dizzy just by looking at her. I can't take it anymore, she's just too mesmerizing. Tang Xiaoxi walked in front, followed closely by an old man in white robes and light armor. He looked to be about 60 years old, and his face was full of vicissitudes of life. However, his expression was reserved, and it was obvious that he was an expert. He pressed his hand on his sword as he followed closely behind Tang Xiaoxi. Hua Tian cupped his fists towards him and smiled. Chu, it's been a long time. The old man smiled as well. City Governor Hua Tian has governed Silver Fir City well. The fact that the imperial monarch has sent Princess Shi to inspect the city is a testament to his trust in you. In fact, I should say that we share the same joy. Hua Tian grinned from ear to ear. This way please, Chu. The assembly is about to begin. Just as this Chu walked through the crowd, his bright eyes suddenly fell on Chu Feng. He immediately stood still, cupped his fists, and greeted with a smile, "Old friend, how come you don't recognize me?" Chu Feng also laughed. "Chu, what are you talking about? I'm afraid that you don't know this old man." The other party bowed again and said, "The conference is about to begin. Let's talk after the conference is over. I still want to discuss the replenishment of medicinal essence with you." "All right, this old man will host a banquet in my humble abode to welcome you." All right, let's drink till we're drunk." After he left, Lin Muyu asked, "Grandpa, who is this person? What a strong aura. He must be very strong, right?" Chu Feng said in a low voice. Chu, a level 94 Saint Realm expert. Naturally, he's very strong. So he's Chu, one of the white-robed royal guards. Zhao Xian's jaw dropped. I heard that he's a poor commoner with no financial group to support him. To think that he's able to cultivate to this level. This is too shocking. There are only a few Saint Realm experts in the entire empire. This Chu can be counted on one hand. Chu Feng looked at Lin Muyu with an expression of infinite regret. He said, Originally, I thought that your martial arts cultivation could improve further. I would have asked Chu to guide you in your cultivation. But it's a pity that you have a heaven-crippled physique." Sigh. A long sigh meant that the old man's hope was once again dashed. Chu Feng had always thought that although this granddaughter of his, Chu Yao, was talented and intelligent, she was still a woman. No matter how hard she cultivated, she would never be able to reach the realm of a man. That was why he had placed his hopes on Lin Muyu. However, he didn't expect that Lin Muyu's physique would not be able to practice martial arts. Chu Yao also comforted him. It's all right. Train hard and you'll eventually break through. I don't believe in heresy. Lin Muyu smiled faintly. Yes, I know. Although he didn't say it on the surface, he had suffered quite a big blow in his heart. However, Lin Muyu's pride was ingrained in her bones. She would never admit defeat. He never believed that a heaven-crippled physique could not practice martial arts. As long as one was willing to work hard, there was nothing in this world that was impossible, wasn't it? Under the announcement of an official, the medicine ceremony officially began. Every medicine shop had a small booth. In reality, it was just a small table. The medicines were placed on top of the table, waiting for the officials to appraise them. Pingnan Medicine Shop, Level 4 Healing Medicine, Grade 6. Songhu Medicine Shop, Level 4 Stone Skin Medicine, Grade 5. Sky Azure Medicine Shop, Level 5 Divine Healing Medicine, Grade 4. Finally, they stopped at the stall of the Divine Feather Medicine Shop. That was the medicine shop of the young governor. The appraiser bowed and appraised the medicine. Then he shouted loudly, Divine Feather Medicine Shop, Level 5 Divine Healing Medicine, Grade 2. Level 6 Forceful Medicine, Grade 4. Level 7 Sleeping Medicine, Grade 4. This was probably the highest level and the highest quality medicine present at the scene. In an instant, there were many congratulations. Even Chu stroked his white beard and smiled. Governor Hua Tian actually made a Level 7 medicine of Grade 4. Congratulations. I'm afraid that in a few years, Governor Hua Tian will be promoted to a king of medicine. Hua Tian smiled humbly. Of course not. I only made a level 7 medicine of grade 4 by chance. At this time, the appraiser continued to inspect the medicine table by table. Finally, one of them came to the side of the 100 Spirits medicine shop's table and tested it with a glass rod. A look of shock immediately flashed across his face. Then he tested Lin Muyu's stone skin medicine. The look of shock on his face became even more intense as he shouted, 100 Spirits medicine shop, level 5 divine strength medicine, grade 3. Level 4 stone skin medicine, grade 1. What? Chu Chu suddenly sat up from his chair, his eyes shining brightly. Who can actually make a level 4 medicine of grade 1? Tang Xiaoxi couldn't sit still anymore. She stood up and rushed down the stage, heading straight for Lin Muyu's table. Chu Chu hurriedly followed by a few fully armed guards. Princess Shi, slow down. Chu Chu shouted. Tang Xiaoxi's speed was very fast, so fast that it was shocking. She arrived in front of the 100 Spirits medicine shop's table in 2 strides. Holding the bottle of stone skin medicine, she said, grade 1 stone skin medicine, it's too rare. Chu Chu said, yes, but princess, you're too rash. If something happens, how am I going to explain it to your grandfather? I promised you that I would protect you. Tang Xiaoxi's attention was completely on the stone skin medicine. She raised her head and looked at Lin Muyu with her starry eyes, asking, this stone skin medicine was made by you? Lin Muyu was a little flustered by her gaze and nodded, yes, he. The corners of Tang Xiaoxi's mouth curled up into a smile that was as bright as a little white flower. She said, you don't look that old, yet you're able to refine a first-grade medicine. How amazing! Can I try this stone skin medicine? Sure. Lin Muyu didn't dare to resist. There were several fiendish guards staring at her from behind, and each one of them should be 100 times stronger than Hawkeye. She didn't want to die yet. Tang Xiaoxi poured a portion of the medicine on her wrist. After a few seconds, the medicine took effect, and her defense increased dramatically. She patted her wrist. Oh, I really don't feel anything. Her right palm opened slightly, and a raging flame slowly rose. An illusory fire fox circled around her arm. It was her martial soul. This young girl actually had a high-grade martial soul. She punched her left wrist that was in the state of stone skin. She gritted her teeth, enduring the pain, and smiled, so powerful. Just a little pain. If I use this stone skin medicine to soak in it, will I be invulnerable? Lin Muyu was embarrassed, and looked at her chest. She thought that it would be a pity if she soaked in it, but she didn't dare to say it out loud, and only said, Princess, the effect of the medicine depends on the person's physique. The stronger the person, the longer the effect, but there must be a time limit. So it's like this. Tang Xiaoxi was a little disappointed, and pouted, saying, Grandfather always blames me for hurting myself when I cultivate. I thought this first-grade stone skin medicine could save me. Hee, but it's fine, I'll test its defense again. Saying this, she reached out and pulled out the guard's sword, and lightly cut her left wrist. Ah, her delicate eyebrows slightly wrinkled, it's bleeding. Lin Muyu wanted to die. Princess, you, Chu Chu hurriedly said, Princess, quickly return to your seat, this isn't a place you should be. After Tang Xiaoxi, Chu Chu, and the others walked onto the stage, Lin Muyu looked to the front, and saw Hua Wan shooting a murderous glare at her. It's over, I seem to have stolen the limelight from the young city lord. After nearly 2 hours, the appraisal was finally over. Hua Tian said, Princess Shi, who do you think should be in the top 3? Tang Xiaoxi smiled, that first-grade stone skin medicine is more interesting, and that person is called Lin Muyu, right? I think he should be in first place, what do you think? Hua Tian naturally didn't want to think so, but he still cupped his fists and said, Princess, she is the special envoy. In that case, let the 100 Spirits medicine shop be in first place in this year's medicine ceremony. All right. Just like that, Hua Tian stood up, gathered his true energy, and announced in a loud and clear voice, His Majesty has sent Princess Shi to Silver Fir City as a special envoy, bringing light to our humble Silver Fir City. Today's results are out. Lin Muyu of 100 Spirits Medicine Shop is in first place, Hua One of Divine Feather Medicine Shop is in second place, and Lu Gur of Sky Blue Medicine Shop is in third place. Saying this, Hua Tian smiled and said, "This year's subsidies are as follows. Special approval, the 100 Spirits Medicine Shop will receive 100 Jin Yin coins as operating funds, and the medicines it produces can be auctioned publicly. Also, this year's special pardon will be won by the best of the younger generation through a martial arts competition." Wonderful! Zhao Exin, Luo Kai, and the others were overjoyed. Lin Muyu was silent. This wasn't actually a good thing. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.